started. The Zoom has been started. We're going to call this special town hall meeting to order at 6:30. On June 24, 2021, the Board of Education, Board of Fairfax School District will be holding a town hall where members of the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions of the board on matters related to district business. This memorandum is intended to provide guidance and advice to the board on responding to questions during the town hall. We don't have every member present, but I would like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
First motion?
I have a first motion by Ms. Alma Rios. Is there a second motion to approve tonight's agenda minus one board member? If there was no second motion, the town hall meeting
I'll
cannot take.
second that motion.
Thank you. There's a second by Ms. Victoria Cornell. Now there's going to be a roll call vote. Mrs. Alma Rios,
Aye.
Mrs. Virginia Lawson,
Microphone.
Palmer Rowland, aye. Ms. Victoria Cornell.
Aye.
That is a 4-0. The motion for town hall meeting has passed. Next, we will move into the public comment.
Before we,
Next, we will move into welcome of the guests. I'm sorry. Before we approve tonight's agenda, I don't see a flag in here, so we bypass. Oh, we do have a flag in here, so I'm gonna move back to saluting the flag. So if you guys will please stand and help me with saluting the flag. Salute, flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with that, I'm going to move to number 3 on the preliminary section. Welcome to the meeting of the Fairfax Elementary School District Board of Trustees. This meeting is held in compliance with the state of California and County of Kern sunshine laws. We have a place on the agenda to hear from members of the public who attend our meetings. It is good if you can call the superintendent before the meeting and have a place on the agenda for any issue you would want to talk about. However, if you haven't done that, you may fill out a form that was provided to you prior to the meeting and give it to the board before the meeting begins. Each item on the agenda can be discussed by members of the public. 20 minutes are provided for each agenda item. Several people can speak during these 20 minutes. We do hope that you in attendance will refrain from visiting during this meeting, as it can be disconcerting to the board members. I would like to thank you all for your time and for being here tonight. Next, we'll move into number 3, which is the public comments section. A person wish to be heard by the board shall first be recognized by the president and shall then proceed to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Individual speakers shall be allowed no more than 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda item or non-agenda item. The board president shall not permit any disturbances or willful interruption of board meetings. Persistent disruption by any individual shall be grounds for the president to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. The board may remove a disruptive individual Individuals who disrupt a board meeting may be guilty of violating California Penal Code 403, a misdemeanor. With that being said, we will now move to our first public comment.
Wait a minute. This says 5 minutes. This says 3.
Public comment. We're in public comment. We're not into town hall yet.
This is not the public comment.
No, that's just town hall.
We have one public comment, Patsy Rolls, and she'll be joining us on Zoom. Patsy, can you unmute and please read your public comment?
Good evening, board. My name's Patsy Rolls. I live at 6701 Auburn Street in Bakersfield, number 124. I tell you that because in case the board would like to get back in touch with me regarding a question that I have asked. That way they have access to me. They have my phone number. I would like to know the percentage of the budget in reserve this year. I would like to know the percentage that's being spent on schools in any legal services that the Fairfax School District is involved with. Is that a possibility to get an answer to? Also, I was listening to the Zoom a minute ago, and I think that there was a different person running the board meeting. If it was the lawyer, I would like to know on what authority she took over running the board meeting. I thank you for the time. If you could give me some answers, I'd appreciate it.
I got her questions. Yes, to recap what Mrs. Rolls was asking, she was asking about our reserve, what reserve we have, and about our legal services budgeted for the 2021 and 2022 school year. And she would like a response to those questions, and I will get those for you, Mrs. Rolls. And she was also wondering why there was someone else leading the board meeting. We couldn't quite hear you, Mrs. Rolls, so I tried to summarize as best as possible. Did I cover most of the points?
Yes, you did.
Right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Mhm. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any member that would like to respond to Mrs. Rawls?
This is just public comment right now, so we're not into responding.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Next,
I have no more public comment.
okay, next, we will move to business and finance, which number 1 is the town hall meeting, and it is a discussion item. The board will discuss and answer questions from stakeholders on matters related to district business. The town hall will be moderated by the interim superintendent, Laura Brown. Members of the public may participate in the town hall virtually or in person. If you have a question you would like to address during the town hall, please email lbrown@fairfaxsd.us by 4:00 p.m. on June 24th, 2021, or sign in prior to the start of the meeting. If possible, members of the public are encouraged to provide their questions prior to the meeting. When it is your turn to speak, based on the order of emails received or sign-in sheet, you'll be recognized by Mrs. Brown and given the opportunity to address your question to the board. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. With that, I'm going to start our town hall meeting at 6:39.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moland. I would like to remind all of the board members and as well as those that will be asking questions at the podium to please speak in the microphone, because if we can't hear it coming out through the speaker, they're not able to hear us on Zoom. So please make sure that we're speaking in the microphone clearly. That's why we don't have our masks on up here. We understand that there is feedback and a little bit of muffled sound when our mask is on. So you're also welcome to remove your mask when you approach the podium to ask your question. I have a list of 21 names that will be posing questions tonight. So the names were added to the list in the order received. So I did receive some emails and some signed up here tonight. Also would like to remind the gallery and those in Zoom that there may be some questions that we are not able to respond to, and they would be due to things that may be attorney-client privilege, things that were discussed only in closed session, anything that might be personnel related. So please understand that there are some true items or district matters that would not be able to be shared with the public. But anything that we can answer, we will try to answer for you tonight. And our first question is coming from Lisa Smith.
I'm sorry, before Lisa Smith, before we go to you, I'm sorry. I would like a motion for the town hall meeting to begin.
First motion?
I have a first motion by Mrs. Rios, a second. For the town hall to
Is
begin.
that even necessary, or do we just
It's
proceed?
it's an item placed on the agenda.
It's
and
a
the pres-
discussion.
It's a
item.
discussion item.
Only item, and there's no need because you're taking no formal action, so there's no need to have a motion to begin the town hall.
If there is no need for discussion items to be voted on by a motion and a roll call vote, then we will move with recognizing Lisa Smith. The president has recognized Lisa Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Moland. I appreciate that. I'm hoping you all can hear me okay.
We can. Please speak as loudly as possible, though. We can hear you just barely. Thank you.
Okay, so I feel like I'm yelling, but I'll yell, but only because I'm trying to make sure you can hear me.
We can hear you clearly. Thank you.
Okay. My understanding is there is an interpreter provided tonight.
There is.
And so my understanding is that the Brown Act allows a doubling of time when there's an interpreter being used. Is that correct? Or do I need to shorten my questions?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and get myself started. I would like to have these questions interpreted, so I will pause to allow that to occur.
All right. She is sitting right next to the speaker and she has a microphone and she said she can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. My name is Lisa Smith, and I'm a teacher at Fairfax Junior High. I am here tonight because I'm not afraid of you.
Move your microphone away from that speaker.
Mi nombre es Lisa Smith y soy una maestra en Fairfax Junior High y estoy hablando aquí en la noche porque no les temo.
I am not afraid of threats such as others have received that I'll be sued for asking you questions or exercising my right to speak.
No le temo a las amenazas que he recibido. Tengo el derecho a ejercer mi derecho para hablar.
I'm not afraid of attempts such as others are aware of that I may be fired for speaking out against some members of the board.
No le temo a ser despedida por hablar en contra de los miembros de esta junta.
What I am is concerned for my students. The money that you have taken from the general fund to pay for 3 law firms for Mr. Mullen's emergency situation of censure takes money from my class and the students I teach.
Lo que sí me preocupa es, considerando mis estudiantes, del dinero que se está removiendo de los fondos general sobre los 3 bufetes acerca del señor Mullen, que le están quitando dinero a nuestras clases y a nuestros estudiantes.
It's money that should be used to keep them safe, to have books, to take field trips, and to keep positive adults like instructional and yard aides, teachers, counselors, and all our staff around them.
Este dinero es para asegurarse que estén salvos, para comprar los libros, para tomarse viajes escolares, para mantener los adultos, asistentes en la yarda escolar, para enseñarles y para tener más personal escolar.
The students are the losers if I start being afraid, so I will instead be concerned for them.
En lugar de estos estudiantes, no temo, pero me preocupa.
My first question tonight is for Mr. Moland, Mrs. Rios, and Mr. Tapia.
Mi primera pregunta es para el señor Molen, la señora Ríos y el señor Tapia.
The Kern County Superintendent of Schools is conducting an audit into possible fiscal mismanagement of public funds.
El
Kern
condado
County
de Kern de
Superintendent.
superintendentes está llevando a cabo una auditoría del año fiscal sobre el manejo de los fondos escolares.
The concern is that the thousands of dollars used to retain redundant counsel and law firms were spent on Mr. Molin's personal legal issues rather than on the district's needs in connection with teaching students.
Lo que me preocupa es que el distrito ha gastado miles de dólares en abogados, bufetes legales sobre el señor Mullen, sobre sus problemas legales, en lugar del distrito utilizar el dinero para enseñar más a los estudiantes.
So Mr. Moland, Ms. Rios, and Ms. Tapia, if the audit does indeed find that the money was incorrectly spent, will you personally repay the taxpayers? Will you promise the community that you will be personally responsible for repayment of those funds?
Entonces, señor Mullen, señora Ríos y señor Tapia, si el dinero se da cuenta que no lo gastaron correctamente, ¿ustedes prometen a pagar eso o a pagarle a las personas que pagan impuestos?
So the question has been posed to Mr. Moland or Mrs. Rios. Would one of you like to answer or take that question?
I just would like to thank you for your comment and thank you for being here with us this evening. The board is presented with warrants and payrolls. And so, you know, the warrants and payrolls are done by employees, which we cannot discuss specifics of the board's decision related to legal representation because it is a confidential personnel matter and may implicate attorney-client privilege information. So with your first question as to if we would pay personally, if there is any findings that it was personal use for one person, I'm not sure if I could answer that, but I am here for the students and I will donate and I will help with any funding needed where there is a shortage for students.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. Since
Thank
legal
you.
counsel is present, could you ask legal counsel if you are able to answer that question?
Can you repeat that?
Since legal counsel is present, can you ask legal counsel if you can answer my question?
Ms. Smith, before we go on, can I allow the translator to translate the
oh.
answer?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Bueno, ya que está presente la abogada de asesoría legal, le puedes preguntar si puedes contestar dicha pregunta.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Smith.
I'm wondering if they can check with legal counsel who is present to see if they are able to answer that question in the town hall.
Quiero preguntarle a la abogada que está presente si pueden contestar esta pregunta en esta reunión pública.
Good evening. Yes, Mr. Mullen may answer the question as he did. Your question being whether or not he would personally repay funds if there was some sort of a finding of wrongdoing. I believe Mr. Mullen answered that and said, you know, at this time, he was unsure of his decision, but that he would act in the best interests of the students.
Thank you. Mrs. Rios, can you answer the question, please?
Señora Ríos, ¿puede contestar la pregunta?
No, no comment.
So you do not.
Okay,
you
Ms.
do
Rio
not-
stated there was no comment. If there's no other questions pending before the board, Mrs. Smith, then we will move on to the next person.
Am I out of 10 minutes?
You have a little bit more time. Did you have another question?
Yes, I do.
You have
Thank
about
you.
4 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'll be
Mhm.
using is that with the interpreter time?
Yes, that we told you have 4 more minutes.
Okay, my
In
second
totality.
question, is about teachers and staff and is about my own experience coming to work for the district. Fairfax has some of the most caring teachers and staff that I have ever met. But I've heard that we have teachers afraid to speak because they are being threatened with repercussions. I'll pause.
Bueno, mi segunda pregunta es, hablando sobre los maestros, el personal escolar, los otros que hemos experimentado. Son muy cariñosos, pero muchos de los maestros temen debido a las amenazas o represalias.
I've also heard that good people are leaving their employment because they do not want to be associated with a district in crisis. I'm embarrassed to say who I work for because our district is being laughed at. My question is, and it is for the entire board, please, all members, what will you do to repair our reputation? What will you do to make sure that we have good teachers and staff wanting to work with us?
Bueno, la segunda pregunta es, muchos de los maestros están renunciando a este distrito. De hecho, me da vergüenza trabajar para un distrito que todos estén riendo. Entonces, mi pregunta es para todos los miembros de esta junta, ¿qué es lo que van a hacer para reparar la reputación, para atraer buenos maestros y personal para que quieran trabajar con nosotros?
Ms. Smith, was that question directed to anyone specifically or?
I
Or
would just,
just-
if a member of the board has some ideas about how we might move forward in a more positive light in the community and in the media, I'd really like to hear that because I think we have great teachers and I really want them to stay. So any member of the board can share ideas.
Okay, and if you couldn't quite hear what Ms. Smith is asking, if there's a member of the board that has any ideas as of how do we move forward? How do we rebuild some of the trust and some of the reputation of the school to encourage staff to be proud and students to be proud of being students here and staff members here in the Fairfax School District?
I would like to respond to that. You know, within the last year, our schools, if you noticed, our schools have increased in certain areas. We have been recognized for achievement in certain areas. We have added additional positions in different areas where they were looking to cut. We didn't. Also, we are having our interns, we're having our multi-subject teachers, a number of new people coming in, a number of people staying, and we want to thank them for that, and we want to continue to build with those new people who have been attracted to our district. Also, the people that are tenure, also the people that are that are interns and working on getting a clear teacher credential. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moland. I appreciate the answer.
Gracias, señor Mullen. Agradezco su respuesta.
if another board member has ideas or an answer, I'd love to hear it.
Si otro miembro de la Junta tiene ideas o respuestas, me gustaría escucharlo.
Also, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do I have any other board members that would like to add anything additional? All right, thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right, next, Elisa Delgado.
The board president will now recognize Elisa Delgado to address the board.
My understanding Lisa is here. Oh, okay. My mistake. I think I muted you, Lisa.
Okay, there you go.
All right,
I didn't
Lisa,
know-
we can
I-
hear you. Keep using that tone, that volume of voice.
Okay, perfect. All right, I do have a couple of questions, but my first one goes to Mrs. Rios. Mrs. Rios, have you sought out and researched the Brown Act or the board bylaws by chance?
The question was, have you looked and read the board bylaws and the Brown Act?
Yes.
Can you put the microphone right up to your voice so we can
Yes.
hear you? Thank you.
Yes.
Let me take-
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Palmer, could you please tell me what exactly is your position as president of the board?
I can tell you that, thank you, Mrs. Delgado, for being here. My role as president is to work closely with the superintendent directly on creating meetings, creating agendas, and also facilitating the normal, regular, and special board meetings. So a lot of my role and role with the board is to be a leader and to work with the superintendent with creating the agenda.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, I too have gone, ever since these meetings, I too have gone to research the board bylaws as well as the Brown Act. And a couple of things that come to mind that I'm gonna state here is the governing board has been elected by the community to provide leadership and citizen oversight of the district. The board shall ensure that the district is responsive to the values, beliefs, and the priorities of the community. The board shall work with the superintendent to fulfill its major responsibilities, which include setting the direction for the district through the process that involves the community, parents, guardians, students, and staff, and is focused on the students' learning and achievement. And now these exactly are from our board bylaws, and they are under 9,000 BB role of the board. And I'm going to move on to the next one, and it is establishing an effective and efficient organizational structure of the district. Providing support for the superintendent and staff as they carry out the board's direction by establishing and adhering to standards of responsible governance and upholding board policies. Being knowledgeable about district programs and efforts in order to serve as effective spokesperson, And then ensuring accountability to the public for the performance of our district schools. With that being said, your job encompasses a wide range of responsibilities and duties that you are required to perform with integrity. These accumulated points stated are effective communication and leadership skills the board should display. So very close in what you stated, Mr. Palmer. So I'm going to move on to one more section of the board bylaws. They are board bylaw 9320, meeting and notices. And it states the board meeting exists whenever a majority of the board members gather at the same time and place and hear and discuss, deliberate upon any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. So my question is to you, Mrs. Rios, again, why don't you hold discussions when requested in an agenda and an item on the agenda? You have two experienced trustees on the board. You have loyal educators in the audience. You have members of the community in the audience, and you have young, innovative individuals, either in the audience or on Zoom, who you can use for discussion and who can provide valuable input.
The question was to Mrs. Rios, and it was in regards to why there isn't more discussion around agenda items when there is experienced board members asking questions and so forth, that why you don't provide discussion around the agenda items.
I can't hear use your mic.
Well, any question I have, I ask Laura. So I don't know what she.
So speak a little bit louder in the microphone. If you can hear your voice, then they can hear you.
Any question I have, I ask Laura.
So when there's a topic of discussion, you ask Laura before the meeting. You guys have, you converse prior to that?
What she asked was, if there's a discussion during the board meeting that you have conversed with Laura prior to the meeting about that item.
Well, any questions I have, I ask Laura, and then my questions are answered, so.
But when there's an open discussion, the people in the audience need to hear your standing point. What are you thinking about that topic of discussion? What are you thinking about that agenda item? So it would be very helpful if you share your opinions, share your thoughts, share your ideas in openness so that we're not criticizing you in any other efforts.
The question was, they would like to have you share your thoughts on items during meetings, that the public would like to hear your thoughts and opinions on items that are being discussed during the meeting.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Thank you.
Can you,
Thank
I don't
you.
think they can hear you. Can you say it right in the microphone?
You can repeat that.
I'll start doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then next, as a majority of the board shall not, outside of any authorized meeting, use a series of communication of any kind, directly or through intermediaries to discuss, deliberate, or take action on any item that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. So my question, since Mr. Tapia is not there, because this question is for Mr. Tapia, but Mrs. Rios, you may as well answer this one as well. How can you, Mr. Tapia, Ms. Rios, and Mr. Mullen work solely as a team of three to make spontaneous decisions with vague or no discussion that affects our community? This leads me to believe that several of you are discussing these items prior to board meetings and deciding how to answer. So can you tell me how you can have a thorough discussion on a board agenda item and vote on it without having a discussion?
I think the question is how you can come to the same decision on matters without a discussion as some of your other colleagues.
And Alma, put the microphone right in front of you. They cannot hear you on Zoom.
I just vote how I'm voting. That's it.
Can,
Like, I don't know.
can you say that one more time and just announce clear, try to enunciate?
I know. I make my decisions, but I don't know why the other ones, vote however they want.
So you're telling me, because integrity means honest, you're telling me you don't meet with anybody on the board to discuss items on the agenda prior to a board meeting?
One answer, that was
I
the
don't know.
question is to you, so answer.
I think.
Oh, she wanted to know if you ever meet with anyone at all prior to the board meeting about agenda items.
I try to do the best I can, so I'm voting,
I couldn't understand. You might want to pull, we couldn't hear you or.
I try to do the best I can voting.
And do you
Thank
feel
you.
you're being, thank you. And do you feel you're being fair with every, are you comfortable with yourself in voting how you're voting?
I think the question was whether you're comfortable with yourself and the votes that you have made.
I try to do the best.
Can you elaborate some more on your thought process and how you're deciding?
We are right about your 5 minutes. Do you want to answer that last question or we? Can you repeat your last question and this will be your time? Can you repeat the
Yeah,
last question?
The last question was just how is she responding? What is it that she's responding? What is she looking at?
I believe she wants you to elaborate on your answer.
I try to vote the best I can. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Delgado.
Thank you. Next,
Next, I have Adon Garcia.
Adon Garcia is recognized by the board president.
Nope, turn the microphone.
My first time here. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, guys. Hello. Okay, so I had this huge, beautiful speech for you guys, about my journey here and stuff, but I'm actually not gonna read it because I'm actually really nervous even addressing the board today. And let me explain why. Just what like Lisa was saying, I am afraid to lose my job because you guys will come after me. And I hate that, just even saying that, because I feel like I'm a pretty good teacher. I think so. I hope some of my students are here, right? I think. I thought I saw some of them here, so. But, Mrs. Parasol was my teacher in 8th grade. And as a kid, when I was writing essays, she would always say, provide detail, provide, supporting details to help your idea. And I'm sitting in the audience and people are just answering one word, like you're answering a question with one word. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. And as someone that, you know, speaks Spanish and, you know, fluently, si alguien tiene una pregunta para usted y nomás tiene una palabra, se me hace un poco una falta de respeto a toda la gente de la comunidad no poder contestar una pregunta tan simple. So, you know, like I said to my students, give us supporting detail, you know, like give us, you know, a couple of like, you know, adjectives to help with your sentence. But if you're just gonna sit here and just say one word, then what's the reason I have a board meeting? I mean, honestly, if you're not gonna answer any of these questions correctly, oh, I gotta talk to my lawyer, I gotta do all this. I'm supposed to be on vacation. And I got dressed up for you guys, just so you know. So, but my question is this, you know, in my classroom, I use a lot of technology in my classroom. I use, one of the technologies that I use in my classroom is the Poly Studio. And the Poly Studio is a bar that is for, you know, obviously through distance learning, we didn't have students here in person, but I wanted to feel like the students were there with me in my classroom. And so the Poly Studio did that. You know, I was able to, you know, the Poly Studio was able to block out the noise and I could just hear the student, you know, giggling or laughing at the jokes that we do or the fun activities that we did, like the science projects outside. And there's a video, by the way, on Google. I can always forward it to you guys. But the students had so much fun doing these projects with the Poly Studio. But I also noticed that not every teacher was able to get that because there's no funds for our school. So my question to you is this: is there gonna be funds for next year for our students to actually have, you know, programs? Because as you know, during distance learning, we lost a lot of time in class. And I feel like our students are gonna be so behind if we don't have the proper technology to give them, because our finances and people are spending money left and right. You know, like I want to be able to go into the classroom and say, okay, kids, we're going to do a ton of science projects today. We're going to be going to field trips that are going to help with these science projects. So I'm a little worried for next year at the beginning of the school year that I have to be extremely boring, you know, and I'm not that type of teacher. So if my students are not having fun in class, I'm not having fun in class. I want to see their smiles. I want to see the students, you know, happy. Mr. Garcia, what are we doing today? And so like, you know, I love that energy, but I feel like next year, will that energy still be there? And my question to the board members is this: will there be those types of, you know, help to, in case I have to go buy something and I ask for the district, will there be funds for educators like myself that use a lot of technology to have in the classroom next year?
I'd like to thank Mr. Garcia for his question and for his enthusiasm coming and addressing the board. We did have LCAP stakeholder involvement where teachers, students, parents, community members should have been able to provide input on what they would like to see in our schools before our LCAP was adopted. But we are always looking to expand. We're always looking for ways that we can improve our school. And if you notice that the COVID with the regression and the loss of learning with students, the state did provide one-time funding, and that was elaborated on in one of our board meetings. Again, we have developed the LCAP. So if you want to look at the LCAP and see where monies are being spent or where monies haven't been spent in the previous years, you can compare the two LCAPs. Another thing is technology, I believe, is the key to learning, especially if we want rigorous distant learning programs. If we ever have this COVID situation again, I think technology is very important. And we have shown that technology is important, and by adding the technology position adding a increase to our position for technology. So I think technology is very important, and I thank you, Mr. Garcia, because I have seen you on YouTube and your enthusiasm. So I really
you.
thank you for that, and I do follow you. So I just want to give that as my answer, and thank you for your support to our students.
And my next question is for Alma. Alma, like was mentioned, I teach, ELA, and, a lot of the, teachers here, like Ms. Parasol. Hi, Ms. Parasol, my old teacher. Hi. She taught me how to be a great writer. She taught me how to be a great presenter, how to, speak in public. And like I said, if, as someone that speaks Spanish and English, there's times I know that I sometimes lose a word and I just like, oh, what does that word mean? But I go and do research to try to help myself. And I guess what I'm asking from you is this: if people are asking you a question, can you please elaborate? Sometimes when you answer yes or no like that, I honestly feel disrespected. Honestly. Como alguien que habla español, siempre he estado enfrente de una cámara, enfrente de los estudiantes en la universidad, hasta en el salón ahora. Y siempre tengo que hablar y explicar mis respuestas. Y como dije, como alguien que habla español, alguien hispana, cuando no contestan la palabra o las preguntas con varias palabras, yo me siento que es una falta de respeto a los padres que están aquí, si no contesta correctamente. Y si necesita ayuda, me puede llamar a mí, yo siempre estoy aquí, yo le puedo ayudar también. Yo soy una persona muy amable y me gusta ayudar a la gente, pero si necesita ayuda con algo, yo estoy aquí para ayudarle a ustedes. Si de veras no sabe una palabra, una pregunta o algo, yo con mucho orgullo le ayudo a usted. Y espero que eso no fue para ofender a usted, porque eso nunca le faltaré respeto a usted, pero como dije, de vez en cuando la gente necesita ayuda y yo estoy aquí para darle a usted si usted desea. Tenga un buen día. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Garcia. Tengo un día.
Next, we have Catherine Pariseau.
Next, the board president will recognize Catherine Pariseau to the podium.
All right, let's make sure we talk in the microphone. We have 103 people on Zoom and they can only hear us if we are talking through the microphones.
Ms. Pariseau, please turn it on. Little button. The microphone will turn green. There you go.
There we go. Good evening.
Hello.
I am so glad to finally have this opportunity to have a town meeting. It's very frustrating when you have questions and you present them during the public comment, and then you can't have any answers back. That's difficult. I have a couple of questions this evening, and I would like them translated. Okay. You ready? Okay. Something says that my Zoom volume is on. Disconnect. Okay. My first question, Palmer, Mr. Moland, would you be stepping down as president before July 30th?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for,
Let the translation happen
oh,
first.
I'm sorry.
Oops, we all do that.
La primera pregunta es, señor Palmer, ¿usted se retiraría de su puesto como presidente?
I would like to say that there was a number of recommendations that the board has looked at and will be, the recommendations will be looked at, and one of those recommendations is for a new president, but we are looking into recommendations and working on each recommendation.
I noticed that the grand jury made some recommendations that we are already technically working on or that were already in place. So those wouldn't be the ones I would imagine that would have the greatest impact. So my next question to you, Mr. Mullen, is if you were to step down, will you abstain from voting on a replacement?
La segunda pregunta es, señor Mullen, si usted decide en retirarse, usted se abstendría en no votar.
Again, I would like to thank you, and we are, again, it is up to the collective board with making that decision if they would like a new board president to step in and be the board president. And your question as to would I abstain? What I can say is the district has sent me on numerous amounts of training.
That's not the question.
You asked, okay, what is your question?
My
Will I-
question is, would you abstain from the vote so that it is a fair vote?
There's a collective bargaining with the board members, so if they collaboratively say who they would like to nominate as board president and that motion is passed, then that is the motion.
But will you abstain from the vote?
That question will be considered for future consideration. That's all I can say.
Second question,
La segunda pregunta.
do you want to translate his answer?
My answer.
No. We'll
Okay, would
translate
you-
it next time.
Okay,
That as a collective board,
Como una junta de convenio,
each year we are given the opportunity to choose and nominate a board president. But if it comes to the point where the board is selecting to nominate a new board president, then we will make the decision at that time. But at this time, I have no answer to that question.
bueno, cada año elegimos como un grupo el presidente de esta junta. Entonces, si llega la nueva junta para decidir, lo hacemos cuando llegue ese tiempo, pero ahorita actualmente no les tengo una respuesta.
Also, I stated that the board has sent me on a training, CSBA training this year. During the last CSBA Masters in Governance training, I was selected out of the group of the board members to present.
but that's not necessary for this district, though.
This is from this district. This district sent me to CSBA
Right.
this year.
But being made board president there at those preliminary trainings, that's not the question, that's not the issue. Congratulations, but that's not the issue. All right, because I'm on a timer, so, and I talk a lot, so I need to make sure I stay focused.
Okay,
All
sorry.
right, so this question comes from Cal OSHA, Section A, Type 3, addressing vengeance and violence in the workplace. So in reading that, I had one quick question go through my head, and I would like to ask it to all board members one at a time, and have all board members answer it clearly and for the record. Ms. Go ahead.
Tengo unas preguntas con respecto a Cal OSHA del artículo 8, y se los voy a hacer a cada pregunta de cada junta. Cada miembro de la junta, y me gustaría que lo contesten concisamente.
Ms. Victoria Cornell. Do you, for the record, do you at this time have or have had in the past a personal relationship with any members of the Fairfax School District Administration or Board outside of the workplace?
Señora Victoria Coronel, le estoy haciendo una pregunta si usted en el pasado o presente ha tenido una relación con algún otro miembro del distrito fuera.
For the record, Ms. Pariseau, my answer is no.
Okay. Mr. Moland, Again, based on the Cal OSHA findings, type 3 in violence and vengeance in the workplace, for the public record, Mr. Mullen, do you at this time have or have had in the past a personal relationship with any members of the Fairfax School District Administration or Board outside of the workplace?
I don't have. Go ahead.
Same question, all three.
Igual,
Ojo.
señor Mullen, le estoy haciendo la pregunta que en este momento, en el pasado, si tiene una relación con algún miembro fuera del o los miembros.
I think that we all have a personal relationship with each other as we have to interact and engage with one another on making informative decisions, especially when we go on trainings for 5 days and it's us 5 board members going to one workshop. I believe a personal relationship is well needed and is there as a bonding tool when we go on these 5-day workshops, when we go on
I
these,
agree.
when we go on these trainings. So I would say I do have a personal relationship with
Translate.
other members.
Bueno, sí tenemos una relación personal, especialmente cuando estamos interactuando, cuando nos vamos a los viajes de 5 días, hay miembros y pues tenemos esa relación y tomamos.
Now, the question was not fully answered. I see what you're going with your answer, but I am asking for outside of the board meeting as a collective. Have you had any personal connections with, any personal relations with any of the board members or administration outside of the workplace? And that would include your training. And you said yourself, it's necessary for information. But are you meeting with less than the full board, for the record?
No,
So you have not in the past, nor are currently meeting with members of the board outside of the collective board meeting.
no.
Victoria Lawson, According to
Virginia
OSHA.
Lawson, Virginia Lawson.
sorry, go ahead. I was on translation. Go ahead.
La pregunta es que si usted tiene una relación fuera o en conexión con la administradora fuera de su entrenamiento y yo sé que es necesario interactuar.
All right, try this again. Virginia Lawson, for the record, do you have at this time or have had in the past a personal relationship with any of the members of the Fairfax School District Administration or Board outside of the workplace? That means outside of our board meetings, outside of the trainings. Have you had personal relationships with anyone in the district, administration, or board outside of work?
Señora Virginia, la pregunta es igual para que conste en acta. Si usted en el pasado, el presente, tiene alguna relación con el distrito o administradores fuera de estos entrenamientos.
I saw on Facebook that Victoria's team won a championship, so I gave her a congratulations. Outside of that, she has called me once or twice to see how my husband was doing because he was very, very ill. Outside of any other school, absolutely not, nothing.
Bueno, la felicité en un juego y además de eso me llamó debido a que un esposo estaba enfermo, pero fuera de eso, no.
Ms. Almarios, have you had or have at this time or any time in the past since serving on the board, had a personal relationship with any of the members of the Fairfax School District Administration or Board outside of the workplace?
Señora Alma Ríos, que si usted ha tenido en el pasado, en el presente, una relación fuera con los miembros del distrito escolar.
Well, I talked to Virginia. I don't know if that counts.
Bueno,
Alma,
hablo
can you
con
speak
Virginia, no
Spanish?
sé si eso
Yeah.
cuenta.
So like they explained each of their connections, can you elaborate or explain?
Bueno, ¿me
We went-
puedes
we
dar
went to
más
dinner,
detalle
right?
y me lo puedes explicar?
Yeah. We went to dinner.
You've gone to dinner?
Hemos ido a cenar.
And did you discuss any board member any board issues at that time?
Y hablaron de puntos de junta, de la junta.
No,
No.
Thank you. With
Gracias.
translation time, how much time do I have left?
You have, that is your 10 minutes.
That is my 10
Yes,
minutes.
it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Pariseau.
All right, Pam Padilla.
Pam Padilla is now recognized by the board president.
Can everyone hear me? My name is Pam Padilla, and I am a Fairfax employee as well as a community member and a former parent of students that went here. I am invested in this community. I'm not afraid of threats, such as others have received, that I will be sued for asking you questions or exercising my right to speak. I'm not afraid of attempts such as that of others are aware of, that I may be fired for speaking out against some members of the board. I am concerned about our students and their futures. On May 22nd, there was a last-minute special meeting held to evaluate schools' legal services. We have a current contract that is not close to expiration yet. As I watched the video of the meeting, I heard that trustees Coronel and Lawson did not hear about the evaluation until the agenda was released 24 hours prior to the meeting, and schools' legal services were not aware of the evaluation until they heard about it the prior Thursday. Mr. Herndon of Schools Legal stated, "We are very happy to have our services evaluated, but we only have learned of this late Thursday morning." Mind you, the meeting was Saturday, 2 days later. "We were not invited to participate or submit anything in particular to the board. We were also concerned about the structure of the agenda because if you look at it, you have an evaluation item immediately followed by a motion to terminate our services. So it gives the impression, given the hastiness of the evaluation and that agenda item, that the board had made up its mind already. The evaluation scores were Mullen 2233, Tapia 2233, Rios 1322, and all fives from Brown, Lawson, and Coronel. The reasons given were either personal grudges or had nothing to do with the scope of legal services duties. When the scores were averaged, it resulted in a positive score. Why didn't schools' legal services know about the agenda before the majority trustees? Who headed that agenda item decision and who was involved in that discussion? Why was the evaluation held and why were they terminated despite the overall positive score and few decades-long record of success for the district? Ignoring the fact that our contract requires us to pay them even if we don't use their services. So my question is to Alma Rios first. Along with the other questions, why were you those scores given to the schools legal? Because we, as your boss, community stakeholders, deserve an answer. We are the one that elected you. We are your boss. We want to know why you did what you did to schools legal, who had nothing to do with anything about being fired from our school district that they've served for so many years.
I'm sorry, I can discuss that. It was
Why?
in closed session. We were in closed session.
It was an evaluation that was open in the public. We were all a part of that evaluation. It was open to the public. I don't understand. And why do you keep looking at the attorney? Don't you have a mind of your own? Can't you answer those questions for yourself? You have done nothing this whole meeting but look at that attorney for answers. Make up your own mind.
But that was my best answer. That was my best answer.
Well, you know, as a community member and somebody who is a voter, I'm ashamed that you're a board member for this, member for this district. And we need you gone. Virginia Lawson, why did you give the 5s for our schools legal?
Why did I do what?
Yeah, why did you vote all 5s for our schools legal?
Oh, I thought they were doing a great job. I thought the people that voted to get rid of them did not like what they had to say, which was legal.
What about you, Victoria?
From my understanding, the times that we dealt with schools legal as a board, they provided us with all the information. They were extremely patient with us. They gave us, I mean, they honestly, they did everything they could for the board to understand any possible information. They elaborated. They elaborated information. If we did not understand it, they did a wonderful job. They really did. Over the years that I dealt with them, I had nothing negative. And it's been, how long have I been a board member? 3-4 years, three years or so. I've had nothing but positive things to say about them.
So Victoria and Virginia, why do you think you guys were not involved in the discussions about the legal teams and the new legal teams that were hired without discussion, and we're not counting Google as a reason?
Well, all I can really say is, till this day, I'm not really even sure why they were removed as a board member. That's all I can say.
I'm not talking to you. I did not ask you a question.
I'm
I'm not talking to you. I
Thank
did not
you.
ask you a question.
Thank
I
you.
asked Virginia Lawson a question. Please let her explain.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
That's because I didn't ask it to you.
Ask
I
me again, I got off track.
Why do you think that you and Victoria have been excluded so much in making decisions regarding schools legal and new legal services that have come into this district that was unnecessary?
I thought they did an outstanding job. They were always there when we needed them. And like Victoria said, they expanded on items when we needed clarification, and they were there for us. They were doing a fantastic job. I had nothing but praise for them.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Ms. Padilla.
Thank
That's
you.
your time. Now we have Ronnie Radica. She's on Zoom. I'm going to bring her up right now.
Ronnie Radica is recognized by the board president.
Ronnie, go ahead and unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, talk as loud as possible. The mic's coming through a little bit quiet.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. First, let me begin by explaining why the board members were not able to have access to the full 100-page censure report and its 450 exhibits. California has a statutory and public policy to maintain the confidentiality of mediation communications. Evidence Code sections 1115 through 1128 offer protection for the confidentiality of mediation proceedings, including all discussions and all material submitted for mediation. Example, the 100-page report and its 450 exhibits. Evidence Code section 1119 says that no evidence of anything said or any admission made for the purpose of, in the course of, or pursuant to a mediation is admissible or subject to discovery, and disclosure of the evidence shall not be forced. In summary, all communications made by and between participants in the course of a mediation or a mediation consultation shall remain confidential. That is why everyone, including the board, teachers, community, and general public, only have access to the 9-page summary. Look at the current divided state of the board. You cannot ignore this issue forever because it is a festering wound in our district. Will you be willing to review the report, take the victims into consideration, and would you vote, if you vote again, would you abstain instead? Now that you know that you cannot legally be given the full report, would you be willing to vote again and abstain? This question goes to Alma. And will you be willing to vote again on the censure and make an educated decision with the information you were given with the 9-page summary?
What she's asking, the question is to Alma, is if the censure resolution was to come back, would you be willing to look at the censure resolution again with the information provided in the summary report? Ms. Radika, is that a summary of your question? We're having a hard time hearing.
Yes.
All right.
I would like to answer that question.
It's
My question is for Alma first,
Mrs.
please.
Rios.
I would consider.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear it.
I would consider.
My second question for Alma, did you read the 9-page summary in its entirety when you were given to it?
She's asking if you read the 9-page summary in the entirety that you were given, the report, the censure resolution, and the, did you read it in entirety? Did you read it in entirety?
Yes.
Little, right into the microphone.
Yes.
My third question for Alma. I want an explanation as to why you voted against it. If you read the entirety of the summary and the statements that were made, why did you feel it was necessary to allow the behavior to happen?
The question was why you were a no vote on the censure resolution.
That was my decision at the time.
Do you feel?
Can you repeat that again?
That was my decision at that time.
You feel it's an acceptable decision? You were okay with a board member treating multiple people the way that they were treated? You were okay with that?
The question, I think, was, are you okay with that decision and the way the report stated people were allegedly treated? Then can you repeat the question because we cannot hear you?
If she read the full report.
Okay,
she-
we have only one speaker recognized by the board president, Ronnie Radica. Can you just speak a little bit louder, please?
If she read the full report and she is fully comfortable with her decision, my question is, she is comfortable with the alleged behavior that took place. She is okay with allowing that to happen?
Well, that was my answer at that time.
I will move on to Virginia. You are comfortable with the decision, the vote that you made against the censure or for the censure, sorry. Can you hear me?
I thought the question was directed to Virginia Lawson.
Yes.
Ms. Radica, can you repeat the question so the translator can repeat it?
Are you guys able to hear me okay?
Can you just repeat the question? The translator will repeat your question.
My question is for Virginia Lawson, if she is fully comfortable with her voting for the censure.
If Virginia is fully comfortable voting for. Censure?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you,
Censure.
Ronnie.
The question was, Ms. Lawson, are you comfortable voting for the censure resolution? Voting for the censure resolution.
Yes.
We're about time.
And the same
Okay,
for-
that is time for thank you, Ronnie Radica, for your questions, and thank you, board, for your answers. We will move on with the next person.
I have Emma Gallegos. Guillermo Farias. Guillermo Farias.
Guillermo Vargas is recognized by the president. Can you please translate that?
Guillermo Vargas, sido reconocido.
Farias.
Farias. Guillermo Farias is recognized by the school board president.
Okay.
He can-
Okay, that's fine. Please do. Yeah, that's fine. You know what? Once you sit right here, so we don't get the background noise over there. Thank you.
Fairfax School District. The present letter is with the sole purpose of asking for support towards the people in the Board of Directors due to the fact that the people in the board do not receive any salary and are being prevented from doing their job, whose people were elected by the Board of Directors. There are people who prevent the Board of Directors from doing their task. We are not going to tolerate our children to be treated badly with disrespectful vocabulary from the teachers and some employees. Through our children, we have been informed that some teachers have been verbally attacking the collaborators of the board. It is absolutely unacceptable that the teachers, the educators of our children are using this inappropriate language in front of them. Due to this, some of the children have already started using this unacceptable language, all because of the teachers. It is a shame to the teachers and some employees of the district that are teaching our kids at school that our children have this as a role model. Ms. Vice Superintendent Laura Brown, this has happened for a while and we asked to stop to this action. We need someone to intervene because if the employees are getting involved in politics, they must be dismissed from their positions of teachers or employees. The community, and I have noticed that the teachers and employees have been openly showing their hatred of 3 specific boards, and we ask that the signs be taken down because it is giving them a bad image when other people have never tried to see the actions that they have done in our community. The 3 board members have only been trying to better the community ever since they were first assigned their positions. Ms. Vice Superintendent Laura Brown, you are the superintendent as of now, and we ask that you take action as of this day forward. The issue should have been resolved a long time ago. Guillermo Farias.
In
Thank you. Do you want
Spanish.
to read the letter in Spanish as well? Thank you.
Atentamente para la mesa directiva del distrito Fairfax. La presente nos sirve a la comunidad y de mí para informarles que por favor ya dejen a la mesa directiva trabajar en paz para mejorar nuestras escuelas y para la educación de nuestros estudiantes. Es muy triste y vergonzoso que las maestras y algunos empleados son los culpables de todo este desastre. Es muy triste que estos maestros que enseñan a nuestros hijos son los mismos que tratan tan mal a nuestra mesa directiva con muchas ofensas y malas palabras, que les pasa regularmente en un lugar de empleo como las escuelas y en el distrito de Fairfax. No se debe permitir esto. ¿Qué pasa con la persona encargada del distrito, la que está siguiéndole al superintendente porque no está preparado en esto? Cuando las maestras se portan así, regularmente debe de haber consecuencias y la superintendente tampoco está llevando el control de esto. Espero que se den cuenta que esto no puede seguir. Así debe de haber orden y disciplina. Les quiero informar que a las personas de la mesa directiva, muy dedicadas y trabajadoras, y hacen todo su trabajo en el distrito sin ningún pago. Solamente hacen por la comunidad y por supuesto por todos nuestros estudiantes. Ojalá que ya los maestros y los empleados se comporten mejor y que la encargada, la señora Brown, ya tenga control con sus empleados. Por favor, señora Brown, ponga control en las maestras y los empleados, que no se comporten tan mal en frente de la comunidad y con los estudiantes y con todos los maestros. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. Can you please submit the letters for record?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'll just
Oh.
submit the letters for record. Thank you.
Can you say that in Spanish? We'll submit the letters and for the record.
Los van a presentar para que consten en actas las cartas.
Thank you, Mr. Guillermo.
Yes. that was correct.
Muchas gracias, señor Guillermo.
Next, we have Maritza Pineda.
Maritza Pineda is recognized by the school board president.
Hi, my name is Maritza Pineda. I'm a parent of this district.
Maritza, I'm sorry can you bring it? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Maritza Pineda. I'm a parent for this district. My kids attend Virginia Avenue Elementary. I would like my time to start after Ms. Rios gives me the answer she promised in the last board meeting we had. So please. Ms. Rios, ¿me puedes dar la respuesta a la pregunta que dijiste que tenías la respuesta para mí?
You wanted the town hall. Remember?
No, I wanted the town hall, and this is a town hall. You said you had an answer for me in regards to where the funds were coming for these law firms. That was the question, and you stated that you had the answer for me, so I want my answer. You all look puzzled, but you know you said that. You told Ms. Brown to add it to the agenda, and you told us that you will have the answer for me. So do you have the answer?
Ms. Brown?
Coming up on the July agenda as a response to one of the recommendations from the grand jury, it is to answer that question, it is to answer how much funds have been spent on law firms up to this date and the reason behind multiple law firms. And that report will be presented in its whole entirety at the July regular board meeting.
Okay, that's perfect. So my question now, I guess my time starts. My question now is, Ms. Rios, do you know if the law firms are being paid with the general funds? I'm waiting for your answer.
Ms. Brown?
No, I didn't ask Ms. Brown. I'm asking you. You're the board member. So I'm asking you. You were so confident that day of the meeting, so this is my question during the town hall meeting. Can you answer it?
So,
All right, let's move on. I guess she doesn't have an answer. I don't know how I'm gonna follow this letters, but this is the first time I see Mr. Farias in our meetings. And for him to have that opinion, and he's entitled to. But me as a parent, being involved in so many school functions, activities, committees, I honestly can say that our teachers do their best with our kids. Our teachers are our kids' parents for those 6 hours they have our kids. Not once has my kid come to my house saying bad language. My kids love their teachers. My kids love all the teachers in the school, not just one. And for him to say that our kids reflect our teachers' behavior, I am glad my kids reflect the teachers' behavior because they're respectful, they behave, and they have so much passion for others that even my family is surprised that at their age, they get emotional. They try to be so correct on a lot of political things. Elementary students shouldn't have to do that. So that's just a reflection of the kind of teachers that our district has. Caring teachers, teachers that are educating our kids. And Ms. Brown, I believe you're doing an awesome job with what you've been given. Let that be in record. I would love to see more parents involved on a day-to-day basis so they can see everything, not just what they're told. And if he's been really involved in seeing all these reports on the news and all these articles on the newspaper, he would know exactly what's going on. Our teachers' behavior has nothing to do with what our district's going through. I had a lot of other questions, but I just believe that talking bad about our teachers is not right. And this town hall meeting was to address a lot of answers, but apparently some of our board members don't have the answers for us. I don't know what meetings they've been at. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marita Pineda.
Ali Ayala.
Ali Ayala is recognized by the school board president.
Okay, so first, I kind of want to go back to Ronnie Radica's question directed towards Ms. Rios. Ms. Rios, she wanted to know if you think pretty much the harassment allegations from the censure, should they be taken lightly? Do you agree with them? Do you agree Do you think that harassment allegations should be taken lightly or should they be taken seriously?
I take it really serious.
Then why have you just brushed off the allegations and the censure and the reports?
I cannot talk about it a lot because a lot of stuff was discussed in closed session.
It was a public censure. It was available to everybody. So you are allowed to discuss it. It's just that you don't want to. So here's your chance if you would like to elaborate.
No comment.
Okay. I might as well ask everyone else too. Virginia Lawson, do you think that the harassment allegations should be taken seriously or lightly? They should be taken, harassment allegations, should they be taken seriously or lightly?
Absolutely, seriously. You broke the law.
Do you think that's from the vote from the censure in December, do you think that they were taken seriously?
Do I think other board members would agree with me? Can I answer that? No, they're not going to agree with me. They already don't.
Okay, Ms. Cornell, same question.
As to the harassment, it should always be taken seriously, just across the board. I mean, who are we if we don't take that seriously? Who are we to our kids if we don't take those seriously, right? And as other board members being, I can only speak for myself, and I back what I did, my same vote from previous, to want to approve the censure resolution, and I will continue to do so.
Thank you. I do have a question directed to Mr. Palmer. Do you feel that you are successfully filling your role as board president? And if so, please give specific examples of why you think so.
I think that I am fulfilling my role. Since becoming a school board president, I have been sent to trainings. Since December, I was elected as nominated as a school board president. I have went to some workshops since some of these allegations and things have came out. I have asked for release of certain documentation and different things so that the community may see both sides and hear both sides. But I think that I participated in the trainings that were offered to me and the recommendations that are made collaboratively working with the fellow board members. I'll continue to do that to show that I'm a team player.
Okay, that's great that you went to trainings. I am wanting those specific outcomes that you have seen within the district directly due to your leadership as a board president.
Well, prior to me being the school board president, I was on the board for 2 years. When I came to the school board, when I was elected by the people, I was one of the board members.
Excuse me, I don't want a history lesson. I just want the current outcome of the last, 6 months?
Oh, okay, if you're asking for the current outcome, in almost every board meeting, there has been positive things said how our district have improved. There has been multiple conversations stating how communication barriers were going to be effective and how we were going to be working together as a team and as partners with the superintendent to move forward in the positive way that our schools are doing now and for the past 12 months.
That's still a very vague answer. Is there anything specifically in the district? That has resulted?
My child is a student at Virginia Avenue Elementary. So I have seen technology, I've seen the rigorous distance learning. I have seen a lot of the implementation of things that I've asked and the students have asked, which snacks, after school sports, handbooks, things like that. Those are things that I have pushed for. So as a school board president, things that I've learned during workshops, board president workshops, will be things that I implement and continue to work on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jeff Chrysler.
Jeff Chrysler is recognized by the school board president.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Chrysler. I'm a resident in the Fairfax School District. I have 3 student or former students that attended the Fairfax School District. At one point in time, I did serve on the Public Oversight Committee for the building of Zephyr School. I think some of the questions I'm going to ask here tonight are going to be quite technical, and I probably will not get an answer. My first has to do with the grand jury recommendations. Number 2, specifically, the board shall consult schools legal regarding the Brown Act, ethics training, and conflicts of interest. All board members must be retrained on proper behavior and subsequent actions as a board member by October 1st of 2021. My question is, and I'm kind of confused, who exactly is the lawyers for the school district? And if we want to have that translated, I'm okay with that too.
Currently, the law firm that we're using is AMLO, and our current counsel is Miss Alana Rivkin-Haas, which is joining us tonight.
Okay, so in the past 6 months, we've gone through 3 legal groups.
We have used representation from 3 legal counsels over the last 6 months.
Okay, would you like to translate? Thank you.
La pregunta era quién era actualmente nuestros abogados o el bufete que estamos utilizando, y en los últimos 6 meses hemos utilizado 3 diferentes bufetes legales.
Board bylaw 9124, under the header of retaining legal counsel, it states that when the district is seeking legal advice or representation, the superintendent or designee shall initiate a request for proposals to advertise and solicit proposals for legal services. This is true?
Yes.
I would like to make one clarification. My firm is serving in an interim capacity only. Before any formal change in legal
Hold on.
representation
I
has
want her to
happened.
translate my question first, and then she can translate your response.
La pregunta era si el distrito hace una propuesta sobre la consejería legal y a quién están usando.
And so you had a response about your interim.
Yes, just to clarify that we're providing representation on an interim basis to the district. And before any formal switch in representation occurs, there will need to be an RFP process for the board bylaws.
So you're stating that if you were to come on full time, we would follow this board law.
Correct. I'm stating that no decision has been made about whether you will
Okay.
be on full time. We're only at an
You wanna
interim
translate
capacity.
for me? Just put your hand up if we get too fast.
Actualmente nosotros somos la asesoría legal temporal. Actualmente no hemos hecho el cambio acerca del proceso RD, pero si entramos tiempo completo lo haremos.
So in my opinion, to be honest, there is no documented district emergency. Censure for the reason of a different, that's what bothers me. Censure doesn't count as a district emergency.
Entonces, censure no cuenta como una urgencia de distrito. Esa documentación no cuenta.
Using that as an excuse to override the RFP process is truly a violation of the bylaws.
Es una excusa del RAD, es un quebranto de los leyes de bylaw.
Board bylaw 9124 under the same header says, in evaluating the proposals, the board and superintendent shall consider the firm or attorney's background, experience and reputation in education law, experience in advising and representing school districts in California, fees, and experience of attorneys at the firm who will provide legal services. I'm going to break down a couple questions. First, it says superintendent or designee. Who voted Palmer Mullen as the designee? Want to translate? Okay, I'll start again. Board bylaw 9124 under the same header says, quote, in evaluating the proposals, the board and superintendent shall consider the firm or attorney's background,
Acerca del rubro 9124, acerca de las evaluaciones del bufete y los antecedentes del abogado,
experience, reputation, and education law, experience in advising or representing school districts in California,
acerca de la experiencia, reputación, educación legal, la reputación en California escolar,
experience advising fees, experience of attorneys at the firm who will provide the legal services.
y con la experiencia con respecto a los honorarios y los servicios legales que van a dar.
So it says superintendent or designee. So
Dice
who
superintendente o a la persona asignada.
elected Mullen to become the designee to hire a new law firm?
Entonces, ¿quién eligió a Mullen como un asignador para elegir el bufete?
And I'll take a response from anybody.
Y voy a aceptar una respuesta de cualquier miembro.
As I stated, there will be a formal RFP process, and that at that time, proposals will be considered and a final decision will be made. Any further discussion about the board's decision to hire outside legal counsel is a personnel matter.
You want to translate?
Bueno, acerca del proceso RFP, con la propuesta es finalmente la decisión, pero es algo que ellos pueden tomar la decisión.
Votes are supposed to be public knowledge, and not making it public is a violation of the Brown Act.
Bueno, hacer votos es algo público que se debe de hacer, si no es un quebranto del Brown Act.
Second, it states the board, meaning in its entirety, every trustee shall consider the firm or attorney's background, experience, and reputation in education law. Why were there not more options for law firms or more discussion about choosing a legal firm? And more importantly, how did you get there?
Bueno, cuando están haciendo una decisión de la Junta, lo tienen que hacer completa o los que tienen un interés. ¿Por qué no había más opciones en elegir el bufete legal?
I don't know the answer to that, except that we receive calls all the time requesting our legal services.
Who did
and
you
we
receive a
respond to
phone
those
call
calls.
from?
I cannot say. I don't know.
I think we can assume. Moving on to the grand jury, number 6, in accordance with California Education Code, the board should verify that board members are current residents within the district boundaries before the next board meeting, if you want to translate.
Bueno, con respecto al gran jurado de la Junta, los residentes tienen que darse cuenta que si los residentes viven dentro del distrito.
So where are we with that? Anybody can answer.
Can you repeat that, please?
In accordance with California Education Code, the board should verify that board members are current residents within the district boundaries before the next board meeting. This is from the grand jury report.
Bueno, según el informe del gran jurado, si la Junta se ha dado cuenta si los residentes viven dentro del distrito.
Without getting in too much of the specifics, we are addressing and will be responding to all recommendations of the grand jury. We are still in the beginning stages of working through those and identifying the best path to get each of those recommendations resolved. And we are required to give a response to all findings and all recommendations.
That's all 12, correct?
That is, we will look at every single recommendation that has been given by the grand jury.
So all 12 issues or points made by the grand jury will be responded to.
It is a requirement to reply. We have to look at and reply to all recommendations and findings.
Mr. Mullen, you gonna resign?
Señor Molden, si usted va a renunciar.
As I spoke to before, that if the board decides that they would like to nominate or they would like to see another president, then that is their decision and I will respect their decision.
Cool. You want to translate?
Bueno, si la Junta quiere tomar una decisión, yo puedo respetar la decisión que ellos tomen.
Prior to be elected to the board, what kind of application process is there?
Bueno, antes de ser elegido, ¿qué es el proceso de la solicitud?
Does one of the board members want to share about the election process for becoming a board member?
So the election process, you have to go down to the elections department and you have to file a candidate. You can file a candidate statement, you file an application and
Okay, I get all that. So you get onto the board. Does the district require drug screens of their board members or employees of the district? That'd probably be to you, Mrs. Brown.
We follow all of our personnel requirements within, and there are certain positions that would require certain types of testing.
School board members?
School board members are not required to have these.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chrysler.
April Chavez.
April Chavez is recognized by the school board president.
Thank you. Mrs. Chavez had to leave. Mr. Medina is going to read her statement.
All right, this is April Chavez's statement. Begins, I'm a parent of Fairfax School District and I am not afraid.
Mr. Medina, can you speak into the microphone, please? Thank you.
Sure. I am a parent of Fairfax School District and I am not afraid of being sued for exercising my right to freedom of speech. I am afraid of what is happening to this district and the students we serve. My question is for Mr. Tapia and Ms. Rios. I want to know why you're always so hesitant to give us reasons for your decisions. As a parent, I want my kids to learn to be leaders, not followers. I teach them that their voices have power and to speak out if they see something wrong. Can you think for yourself, or do you need a script for every meeting? Do you have your own mind? Why do we only hear no comment or hear you lashing out against other trustees? Do you have a voice? I want you to tell me why you keep approving the bad decisions without giving us an honest discussion. And that's the end of April Chavez's statement. Thank you.
Maria Hernandez.
Maria Hernandez is recognized by the school board president.
I'm sorry, Alma, did you want to respond to Mrs. Chavez's question?
I try to do the best I can.
Can you speak up? We couldn't
I
quite hear
try
you.
to do the best I can.
With all due respect, good evening. My name is Maria Hernandez. As you know, I've been here for the last 22 years. I live here in the district. My two kids went through here, but that's a waste of my time because they're timing me. What I wanted to say is that I thought this was a community meeting. I didn't think it was a lawyer meeting. She's answering all the questions. What the hell? I'm getting very upset. You're supposed to be speaking. You have to look at people. You don't have mind of your own. You don't know what you were getting yourself involved when you run to be on the board. If you can handle it, get out. That's so easy. Get out. We don't need people like you. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. I'm very upset. I had a little bit of hope the last time I talked to you, but today I don't regret this. More than ever, I'm 100% with this. We don't need you here. And for that gentleman who said that the teachers are not doing a good job, or Laura Brown is not doing a good job, he's friends with Mr. Tapia, the coward who's not sitting here. Yes. I don't have respect for you guys anymore because you don't respect us. We are your bosses. Your insurance gets paid with my taxpayer money. Do you understand? If you feel so powerful, give it away. Show me that you care. Show me that you care for this district and for these kids. It was a lady who poured your house out in putting your hand on her son's murder. And you guys didn't even say a word to her. That lady who lost her son, January 10th, don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like that. You know what I'm talking about. Nobody here said anything to her. And Mr. Tapia had the guts to say that he doesn't care. It's not any of his business. So why all these kids are in this community is any of your business? Why are you here? I want to know why you're here. I have so many questions. Every time somebody speaks, I say, I'm going to ask that. Why that? I had this prepared. I thought I was coming here to hear from all of you, especially you and Mr. Tapia. And I'm not getting any of that. And I understand she's getting paid to be here. I understand she's using my tax dollars. But you have mind of your own. Why don't you show any respect? You need to give us what you're thinking. When people sign you in or vote you in, we thought you were one of us. We thought that finally somebody Hispanic who's gonna understand our issues, our struggles. Our kids who work, their parents work so hard in the fields that they don't have time to be here and be enrolled. Look at the audience, half of it left because it's waste of time, waste of money. You need to be ashamed of yourself. I hope you can sleep at night. I don't understand how you can sit here and make decisions and not be informed. You always said that we disrespect you. All of us disrespect us. Not you, Mrs. Virginia Lawson. Not you, Mrs. Cornell. And I understand your struggle. So it's 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 3 amigos. What is he giving you? Is he sharing his drugs with you? Is he paying you for your car, your Lexus? What is it? Can I have an answer now? Speak loud.
I love Fairfax. My 3 kids came here. Thank you.
Really? So you're okay with him harassing all the teachers and the personnel and following kids in his car when it's not his job to be following kids after school? Those kids don't know who he is. Those kids, they don't know he's the president. In the kids' eyes, they think he's a predator. Do you understand?
I understand.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding that part. Do you understand why I'm so angry? Maybe I know more what's going on here than you do. Do you hear me? There's a video. There's a video for the lawyer to watch that he's following kids. Then when we outside in the corner with our things, he's saying, "You're not supposed to do that. That's against the law." No, it's not. And I'm not afraid of you or anybody.
Time.
Of course, it's my time.
Would you like a response?
Yes, from everything. You have it?
Okay, time. So I would like to respond.
Okay.
I worked for the district for 10 years.
that.
And if you want to see my record, if you want to see my personnel record, if you want to see my medical record,
I know
if you want to
your
see my record,
Your
if you want
where
to see
you
my
promise kids,
business,
where you promise
if you want to
peace.
see the correspondence from the superintendent when that student that I was concerned about
Yeah,
what happened,
yeah.
I could provide you that.
I know your
Thank you.
record. Your
Time.
record is that when you were coaching
Time.
kids, you
Time.
promised things that you never fulfilled.
Time,
I don't care about your time.
Time.
This is a hometown meeting.
time,
You don't like it what I
Time.
say, that's why you're shutting me up.
time.
You're not shutting
Time.
me up. I'm not going away.
Time. Next on the agenda. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Alma Cardenas.
Alma Cardenas is recognized by the school board president.
Good evening. My name is Alma Cardenas. I am an employee here at Fairfax, and I'm also a community member. My question for you today is, can you explain to me the process how you board members get an invoice paid?
Invoice is submitted by a receipt or reconciliation form submitted by district employee or district personnel. Receipts are submitted. District personnel who is in the position may submit a receipt and a reconciliation form. Also with that, there is a signature required for reimbursement from the district.
But don't you have to get a purchase order first in order for you to get that paid?
Purchase orders are open, there's purchase orders, there's paid vouchers. And if we are looking into the numbers and the warrants and payrolls, we would notice that some purchase orders or paid vouchers are extended for different reasons, not stated in the warrants or payroll, but purchase orders are open. There's a dollar amount set to that purchase order for the year. And if you go over that purchase order, then it is on the warrants and payroll that is submitted every month for review to
So
the
do you
board.
submit an invoice for your insurance? Because you are not a Fairfax employee. Do you submit an invoice for your insurance?
Insurance is what is part of board members when they are elected. I think that is the part of the incentive that they're told they would be given. I don't think that any board member, I cannot speak for any board member, but I have my own insurance. I'm not here for insurance purposes. And I have my own insurance, but if you want to ask anyone else, that's fine.
Does the district pay for your full insurance? Because you're not a Fairfax employee. And do you know where that fund comes from to pay your personal insurance? Ms. Rios. Not the lawyer, Ms. Rios. Who approves to pay for your insurance?
Why don't you ask that?
I'm talking to you. He already answered.
Why don't you ask the other board?
I'm speaking to you as a community member and a taxpayer of this community. I'm asking you a question. Do you know how the district pays for your insurance? What funding does it come from? Where does the district pull that money from in order to pay your insurance?
because we are employees have to pay for partial of our insurance. It does not cover 100%. Who pays for your insurance? So you don't have an answer for me. Somebody had an answer for you. So that's how well you're informed of everything that goes on in this district. You don't even know where the money comes from. You just like to use it and that's it for your purpose. Like he said, he has insurance, but you don't. The district paid for your
I
insurance.
do have my own insurance.
Okay, then there is no reason for us to pay for you guys' insurance then.
Are you gonna ask the question to the other board members?
No, just to you.
Oh, just to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes, is that a question for me?
yes.
Okay, and my answer is I'm only asking you, and I
Okay.
have the right to ask.
No comment then. Bye.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna get away with it tonight. No comment. Okay, my other observation is a few years back, I'm not sure who made up this option for us to have an audit on our booster club. I don't know if it was approved by the district or it was approved by the board members. I'm not sure.
Ms. Cardenas, can you repeat that?
Okay, here's my question. A few years back, the district or the board members, I'm not sure who approved for the booster club to get audited. We had to come up and pay for a CPA to do our audit so we could present it to the district office when Booster is a parent-run club, not a board member club. But we had to pay a CPA to do the audit for you guys to be happy about it. Now,
Ms. Cardenas, can I answer your question?
yes, sir.
The district booster club audit was recommended. It was not voted during my term, but I know that when I was a part of the district, when they did the district booster club audit, and the reason why they did that audit is because one of the schools sat at around 80,000 or more, and they wanted to make sure that some of the expenditures were spent down and spent on the students. Because Booster was you having carnivals and raising money, but the money was sitting there. So I think that's why the audit was done.
Okay, thank you for answering the question. I did not know that. But as you know, Fairfax does not have the same funds as the other clubs. We do not make as much money. And I don't see you guys here making any donations like you say you were gonna do.
I can respond to, I looked into your last comment that you made in regards to flowers, and if it was something that the district would be able to fund, and flowers is not an expenditure that school is able to fund. I did submit your question for answer, and I am always willing to help schools as long as my kid or as long as I'm in the district, will help. And I know you, I worked with you for many years on the Fairfax campus. And if you come to me directly, I have no problem helping our schools and our students.
I hope to see that in the future, Mr. Palmer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ivan Hernandez.
Who?
Ivan Hernandez.
Ivan Hernandez is recognized by the school board president.
Hi, my name is Ivan Hernandez, and I used to come to the school district. About 6 years ago, I graduated from the school district. I am now a UCLA student, right? And that's the, thank you. That's, I think a lot of that had to do with the education that I received here. And a lot of that had to do with the funds that were received here. And I think if we go in the same direction that we're going now, a lot of the students that are here are not going to have that same opportunity. If we're going to keep wasting money on people to represent you for no reason, and you're wasting tax dollars that should be gone to students, clubs and whatnot that helped me when I was here and that helped me get to the place that I am here now. We will not have those same students to go to UCLA. Now, I have this little thing written up and I hope you can answer my questions thoroughly. Page 3 of the Mr. Tapia's and Mrs. Rio's response to the February 2021 FPPC complaint written by Mr. Huerta and submitted on their behalf on April 5th, 2021, states that Tapia and Rios are concerned about exposing the FSD to legal liability and possible damages if the proposed resolution was adopted. To clarify, adopting a resolution according to Thomas Reuters practical law means to approve a specified action, agreement, or determination. Who would sue them for a finding of censure based on the investigative report? Would that be Mr. Mullen? Would we not try to redirect a student who was found guilty of bullying? What damages would arise from restraining or redirecting a person who was found guilty of abusive and inappropriate behavior? And anybody may answer that. And if not, I can keep going. I'll keep going. And on the other hand, was found guilty of abusive and inappropriate, And on the other hand, what damages would arise from the continuing chaos of happening right now in our district? These are a lot of good questions, but I would split them into different questions. 1, who do they think would sue them? Would anybody like to?
I'm not a part of this board to look to sue anybody for voting the way that they want, the way that they choose. As elected officials, that is their decision to vote however they feel. I do think that it is important to make informative decisions when voting. So I'm not suing, I wouldn't sue anybody for voting against me.
Okay. Number 2, why are they concerned about being sued when legal counsel has advised them to act to protect the district?
Can you repeat that?
Why are they concerned about being sued when legal counsel has advised them to act to protect the district?
And by they, who are you who's they? Can you clarify that?
The people that are being concerned about being sued.
And that's Mr. Tapia and Mrs. Rios?
Yeah,
Okay.
whoever.
Thank you.
I'm not afraid of getting sued.
But you are afraid about answering questions? Interesting. Number 3, do they believe that they have any legal liability for voting to use public funds to protect Mr. Mullen from censure, which is the basis for the Kern County Superintendent's audit?
I wish I could answer some of these questions, but I am not Mr. Tapia or Miss Rios, so I know that's kind of quiet, so.
Yeah, that's expected given their previous interactions. Well, if there's nothing else, I would just like to say that I'm very ashamed of the members that have showed themselves these past couple of months, and especially at this town hall meeting. You know, I used to be proud about graduating from this district, but as of late, I can't really say that I am. And further on, like I personally want to be an educator, and I don't know if this continues, and if these certain members are still on the board by the time that I'm looking for work at a certain school, I don't know if Fairfax School District would be on that list, because as of late, this has shown me that this is no place where people want to work. And as people have obviously said earlier, you know, they feel that they're just not, they're not being heard. And this community has obviously not been heard. This is why we're all here. And I'm just deeply, deeply disappointed in the members that have not shown why they even became members in the first place. And if you are here because you love students, then show it. If you are here because you want to represent our community, then show it. Because here and now, I have not seen 1 ounce from two of the members here that they obviously don't show any amount that they want to be here. Especially you. You do not want to be here. You keep looking out at the lawyer and you keep saying no comments, and when we're here for answers. And for that, I'm deeply disappointed, deeply. And I have not paid taxes yet, as I am only 20 years old, but when I do pay taxes, I hope that they are not for you. I hope that you're not here by the time I do. And I hope Mr. Tapia is not here, and I hope Mr. Mullen is not here. And I will personally would do everything in my power to get you out of here and to not make sure that you are elected. Because things that I've seen in this district are, I just don't want this to happen. I don't want any of that to happen. And that's all.
I have a question for you.
Go on.
My question for you is, what programs did you participate in that are now eliminated, are no longer a part of this district?
I never said they were eliminated. I said that if there are budget cuts, and there may not be programs that would allow kids to go to further schools or even further doors in their minds to want to explore certain routes. And if you're talking about the clubs that I was in, it was this thing called Math Field Day, where I would go and participate in this place in town. I forgot where exactly, but we would participate in math, and that opened my door to education further, because I had previously just didn't care about school too much. I liked getting good grades, but before then I didn't care about school.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So to answer your question, I'm not saying that the clubs that I was in are getting cut. I'm saying that the clubs that could be, the opportunities that could be, may get cut because of the funds that you're using for legal guidance.
Okay, so last month in the meeting, you talked about math being your passion. And in our last board meeting, we talked about adding 3.
I was not here in your last board meeting, so that
Okay,
obviously shows that you do not listen to the people in the community.
We talked about adding math instructional aids to our sites, which would help with your passion in math is. So I thank you for your comment, and I thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Were we made aware at that meeting about that, right? That wasn't something that us, the board did. That was something that was district, right?
Correct. That was
Thank you.
something that was based on, actually, it was a community member feedback on the want and need for more math assistance. So based on that, we developed an LCAP goal that brought aids to the school site.
Okay, so it wasn't something the board implemented, correct?
I can answer your question, Victoria. I made several inquiries about implementing math instructors and what title it will fall under for us to have students get extra help in math. So that is a conversation that was held. I can tell you that I have had several conversations around math instructors and what title funding it will fall under, and my concern for our students in math. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make sure that credit is given where it's deserved and that the board is not taking credit that it does not deserve.
I'm not taking credit for anything that the teachers and the students are receiving. I'm just stating that I have been a part of a conversation for math being, extra math being put into our schools, extra
Okay, let's not
funding
take
for
time away from
instructors.
the people. Town hall meeting, Ms. Brown, next
Jennifer
person.
Lujan.
Excuse me. We will show
Next
respect.
person, please.
Can we show respect?
Jennifer Lujan.
Jennifer Lujan is recognized by the school board
Good
president.
evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Lujan. I'm a teacher of 16 years at the Fairfax School District. All of them spent right here at Fairfax Junior High. I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Moland here at the campus. I have been on the bus to Magic Mountain with Mrs. Rios and her son. I have worked with Virginia, although not at my campus. And I've had the pleasure of having Ms. Cornell's children as well. So I have a stake in all of this. I am extremely emotional because this is my school. It's the only school that I've ever worked at. And I take pride in this school. And I am deeply hurt and ashamed by being accused as a teacher of harming the students' will by saying that we have talked ill about you. You have noticed that we are Fairfax Strong, and we come here to support this school, not to take it down. It's absolutely a gross negligence of what I heard today, and I'm extremely upset, and I take extreme offense to that. One of the things I just want to kind of put in there that, you know, I have this, I'm kind of like Mr. Garcia, I have this whole thing and it's just gone to nowhere. But I don't have any fear of repercussions. I'm 16 years here. I know the ins and outs, okay? I love these kids. I have spent overnights in that cafeteria with another principal, sleeping on an air mattress to try to get the library down the street funded for whatever reason. Blindfolded, doing a walk in the middle of the night, doing a trust fall at 300 pounds, come on now, right? I have put my heart and soul into this, and I'm just not happy with what I've seen from you. No comment is not good enough. It's not. You need to have a voice and you need to speak up. And we're giving you the opportunity to do so. I feel extremely frustrated when I watch board meetings and Ms. Cornell or Ms. Lawson are trying to clarify and they are shut down immediately. I would be curious to see how many 3-2 votes, the same 3 people, 3-2 votes in the last 5 months, what percentage of those votes would have gone that way? Have we looked at those numbers? Because I think it would be a high significance towards the other direction. So one of the questions that I have, it's simple. My questions are easy. The first one's a yes or no, and I'm addressing it to the entire board. Let me read it off my paper here. During the May 22nd special meeting, KCSOS management consultant, Mr. Jamie Henderson, who represented Dr. Barlow, stated that, quoting, "Their office can take away all of the board's operating privileges and turn our district over to the state for management." He stated that he had once offered a workshop that helped train a board on their bylaws, helping to pull a school out of the state's clutches. He said he's more than willing to offer help. Simple yes or no. Have any of you reached out to him for help? Yes or no is all I want. Mrs. Rios.
We are gonna work on having classes and everything.
So as of yet, is that a no? Mrs. Lawson.
I've gone to all of his workshops, all of them, but I have not reached out to him because I already know the information.
Thank you, Mr. Moland.
I can say that I don't know him personally, but I know that he has come and he has given information to the board based on his experience. And so have I reached out to him? I have seen him after meetings, but there's community members that have questions that he was busy answering. So no, I have not. But if he is willing and he has help, I haven't received any emails or anything from him, but If he's one of our consultants or he's able to be a consultant, I think that would be nice. We're looking to improve, so.
Okay, I appreciate your response on that. But he said in the May 22nd, so what are we in, April, May, right, June? I don't even know, it's summer, right? That he would be willing to help. So I would like to hope that you guys would extend a hand knowing that information. Maybe it wasn't made clear back then. Ms. Cornell?
I did reach out through email.
Okay, thank you. And my last question comes from me. I was gonna ask for your top 3, but for time's sake, it's getting late. I got a baby at home that needs me. If you could give me your top 1 or 2 goals for your own personal goals for our district, what is your end game for our district? Top 1 or 2 goals? Ms. Rios?
Can you start from over there? So I can have a little bit of time.
Sure, I'll start from over here.
Can you
Is this going
can you
now?
repeat the question?
Of course. What are your top 1 or 2 goals? What are your own personal top 1 or 2 goals for our district as a board member?
My number 1 goal is honestly to have a board that is actually here for the district, that is actually here for the children, and actually show that, not by their words, but by their actions. That is honestly my number 1 goal. My number 2 goal is just to be a transparent, I mean, it's all board related, and just have transparency. I want to be able, I mean, honestly, like, I love seeing this, and I wish for every meeting, every single board meeting, not just special meetings, not just meetings because something's wrong. I want to see people at every single board meeting. I want to see the community. I want to see parents. That is very important to me. So that would be number 2.
Mr. Mullins?
So I would say to continue to focus on our teachers and our staff, and to continue to provide them the support that is needed. Continue to show them through board action that we're looking to improve. And to continue building on all the programs and growth we've made so far. We have come along, our schools have been recognized in this last 6 months tremendously, Shirley Lane and other programs that we have in Fairfax School District. So just to continue that, and I would like to see more interaction, because when I came to this board, I was at carnivals, I was at every school, I was at, you name it, I was there. I was at the cafeteria or AVID Awards, and for the African-American students who received over 3.5, I was at the BHS auditorium supporting them. So I would like to see more support all across the board.
Can I ask why that's changed? Because I'm thinking about 8th grade graduation. I saw a handful of you. I haven't seen not one of you. I've never seen you in my classroom outside of when your son was with me. I've seen you at a couple events. Why has that changed? And this is just a side note, and I'll come back over here for my last question. How come that's changed? What's your opinion on that?
You know, I don't know what has changed, but you know, we have the same board members, and so we have the same policies and board members, and unless you know, principal or administrator is busy or what have you, I think that I only can speak to myself. I tried to visit every campus. I did STEM in Virginia Avenue. I was assigned fair judge at Virginia Avenue. I visited every school. So to keep doing that, that's my goal. That's all I could say for
Okay,
myself.
thank you. Mrs. Lawson, top 2 priorities or goals?
I'm very prejudiced for Fairfax. It's dear to my heart, and I think Lisa Delgado said it beautifully last meeting when she talked about the Virginia Avenue staff coming together, all the people that came. Nancy Cox spoke, Daisy, oh gosh, what's Daisy's married name?
Daisy Brown.
Hermosa.
Hermosa
Anyway,
Brown, yeah.
Fairfax is a home to these kids,
Yes, it
and
is.
my goal is to keep the cohesiveness, I always put my kids in what I figured in a class where they would be loved. That was number one. Nancy, you're smiling. She got two of my kids. So there you know, when they're loved and they're warm and they feel good. And Miss Pariseau, you got hats off to you tonight from Adon. So that, I want to keep that going. That has got to go. That is the Fairfax strong. I want to see student growth. I'm immensely proud of all the things that Fairfax has done since Mr. Coleman has been here.
I agree. Thank you. Ms. Rios?
I love Fairfax and I'm really proud of Fairfax. That's why my three kids came here. And if you want me to go to your class and be more involved, I will.
Yeah, we absolutely love seeing you guys in there because we think we rock at what we do. We've been here for a long time. There's a reason I haven't left this school because I'm good at it and I love these kids. So I want you to see the love that I have for my kids just as much as I can see it and they can feel it. And that parent is completely wrong. And I guarantee you, you ask a handful of other parents and there would be a big disagreement there. So again, we love this school. We want it to be a family again, and it's not right now. And that makes me sad. Let's make that happen and let's change it for the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer Lujan.
Sasha Palamo. Sasha Palamo?
Sasha Palomo is recognized by the school board president.
My name is Sasha Palomo. I'm a parent, employee, sports coach, and member of multiple committees at Fairfax School District. I'm not afraid to be sued or fired for exercising my right to freedom of speech. However, I am afraid of what is happening to this district and the students that we are supposed to serve. I have the perspective of employee and parent, also member of the community. I have been following this novela since the beginning, and I'm curious, what is your goal? Did you see the health benefits and jump on board? And my question is, for those that do receive the health insurance, would you still be here if the taxpayers didn't pay for that insurance? And that question is for anyone who does receive.
I would still be here. They can have the insurance.
And let me clarify this. All board members receive the insurance, whether they choose to use it or not is up to them.
Thank you for clarifying that.
It's about $1,700 a month that it costs for the board members, roughly speaking.
And see, and I am an employee
Yeah.
of the district. I can't afford health insurance
Yeah.
for myself. So for you guys to have it covered, it's sad.
Right.
Because we can use those funds elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that is my question. Would you still be a part of this board if your insurance was not covered? And that's for everyone. I want an answer from every board member.
I'll answer. I answered something else, but yes, I would definitely be here. And honestly, maybe that's something that we should consider as a board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My
You
answer,
take my
my
insurance.
answer would be yes as well.
Yes, thank you.
I would be happy not to have the insurance. As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned that when I was on the bargaining committee about 20 years ago.
Ms. Rios? I can't hear you.
I will still be here.
Okay. And my question, I have another question. Why did you choose to become a board member? Sorry, why did you choose to become a board member? And that question is as well for everyone.
I'm going to go first. Okay. I was a student here. My husband was a student here. My kids all graduated from Fairfax, went to Foothill. I have been in the community for a very long time, and this is my home. And I was a teacher. I was in the booster clubs. I did it all. And this is how I thought I could keep Fairfax strong, keep it going in the path that it was going until recently.
Thank you.
My kids have been in the district. I have one, he'll be a senior, and he was here from kinder. He went to Virginia. He went to Shirley. He went to Zephyr and Fairfax. So he's been at all 4 schools. So I have him, he graduated from here. I have a daughter that graduated from here. And my youngest is about to enter 7th grade after the summer. So she's my last one that'll come through Fairfax. And I've always been very involved, or I tried to be very involved. I was on the booster clubs as well at Zephyr, and every time that I could do what I could, carnivals, I remember being, just really quick, carnivals killed us. I think I got like 25,000 steps each carnival, but I hold Fairfax dear and near to my heart. My kids, it's become a family, so many people, familiar faces, and, it's a great place to be, and,
Thank you.
I worked here for almost 10 years, so also I made a lot of relationships with my peers over the years, with student, staff, and the community. And, I wanted to continue to have that. Actually, I was still working when I decided to become a board member. I was still working at Fairfax, so I didn't feel the disconnect when I became a board member. And also my son goes to one of the schools in the Fairfax School District. And I would tell you, if I felt anything less than, having my child in a district that was not improving and doing well, that, I would use the inter-district transfer or whatever. But I think Fairfax is a good place to be. I think they have very good teachers. And, I've made a lot of friends. I can remember when I worked here, it was a 6th grade wing here at Fairfax Junior High. And I mean, the family here was immensely strong. So I know, and I can speak for Fairfax Junior High, I can speak for Virginia Avenue, I can speak for, my child, trying to become a better person. And, I really like this district, and, I continue to just keep it a part of me. So since I've left, it has been a part of me.
Okay. Ms. Rios?
I have 3 kids, and they went to Virginia, Zephyr, Shirley Lane, and Fairfax.
Right.
So I was really involved. I used to go to meetings and everything. And yeah, and I like Fairfax a lot.
And what are you guys doing to serve our community and to serve our children?
I'll speak to what I've been looking into is, I've been looking to where our district, where we're a 17-mile radius, and been looking to those parts of the area that are socially, economic disadvantaged and may need help. I've talked to Morning Glory. I've rented out the facilities to.
And excuse me, is this at yourself personally or as the board?
This is what I've tried to do, and as the board as a whole. So we all bring a piece of a puzzle together. So, I think I'm a part of a board, which is a whole, and I'm a piece of the puzzle. So I bring a little bit to the table coming from CSEA. I think other members bring stuff to the table coming from KFTA. So we come from all different aspects, parents, teachers.
I just want to see more for the students. And this is what it's all about. We do everything for the students. I'm first a parent, second an employee. So my kids will always come first. And I'm speaking all the kids that I've coached, the kids in the classroom and my own personal kids. So I would like for you guys to reflect on that and make sure you guys are in it for the right reasons.
And I can really say thank you, Sasha, for being there, Sasha Palomo, because I've seen you in the office. I've seen you carrying those soccer bags. So I've seen you putting your heart out there for them, those little kids. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. And I do it because I love what I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alicia Sanchez.
Alicia Sanchez is recognized by the school board president.
No, yo creo que lo tienes. No, ya lo cambié. Primeramente quiero darle gracias a todos los maestros.
First of all, I want to thank all the teachers
que han cooperado para que
that have cooperated
y han estado por tantos años aquí
and have been here many years
por nuestros hijos.
for our children.
3 de mis hijos han estado aquí y nunca,
3 of my children have been in this district,
y nunca tuve ningún problema con ellos.
and I never had any problems with them,
Ni con nadie de la oficina.
nor
ni
with
con los
anyone
board
at the
members, ni nada.
office, nor the board members.
Y me duele oír que una persona venga a acusar
And it hurts me that an individual comes and accuses
de que los maestros se están haciendo mal cuando
that the teachers
las
are
personas
not
que
doing
están
their
haciendo
job,
mal son los que están tomando malas decisiones, que son los miembros del-
when in reality, the people that are not doing their job are the people from the board.
Yo quisiera saber
I want to know,
directamente a 2 personas, porque la tercera no está presente.
directing it to 2 individuals because a third person is not here.
Sí, y quiero que me contesten directamente.
And I want you to answer me directly
No, porque siento que ella habla español y habla inglés.
because I feel she speaks English and Spanish.
Si puede decirme, si sabe lo que es tener dignidad
If you know what it is to have dignity
y vergüenza.
and to be embarrassed,
Porque nadie, no los queremos aquí. O sea, estamos viendo que su trabajo es pésimo.
you know, we see
Ya, no está haciendo su trabajo
that you
bien.
are not doing your job.
No está preparada ni siquiera para contestar.
You're not even
cosas-
prepared to answer
cosas
questions,
fáciles.
easy questions.
Ajá. Y siempre para estar ahí sentada.
And to
pues
just be
cualquier
sitting
persona
down,
pudiera estar a un lado
anyone can do it.
y que alguien me diga lo que tengo
And
que
someone
hacer.
else can tell me what to say.
Entonces, si esos son los que representan
So if those are the people that represent
Fairfax, o sea, el
Fairfax,
distrito,
the
está mal.
district, you know, this is wrong.
Me gustaría saber cuál es el verdadero interés.
I want to
y por
know
qué está
your
aquí.
real interest of why you are here.
Y es directamente para
And
Alma.
this is directly to Alma Rios.
Mi interés es por los niños.
Si
My,
fuera por los
my
niños,
interest is for
Como
the
le
children.
dije, 3 de mis hijos han venido
Like I
aquí.
said, 3 of my children have come to this been going to this district.
ok, también 3 de mis hijos vinieron aquí.
And 3 of my children came here as well.
Y si te importaran de veras,
And if you really
te
cared,
importaría todos estos maestros,
you would care about all these
todos-
other teachers
todos nosotros
and us
que nos importa
that
el bien
care,
de Fairfax.
you know, for the
¿A ti no te
well-being
importa
of
que se
Fairfax.
están yendo los maestros,
You
los
don't
mejores
care,
maestros
you don't care that the
están
teachers
ahorita
are leaving, the ones that are currently here,
por sus decisiones?
because of your decisions.
Nunca había visto tantos maestros.
I've never seen so
viniendo
many
de la comunidad
teachers
juntos,
and in the community,
y no me cabe en la cabeza
and
cómo
I don't
ustedes,
understand how
cómo sobre
you,
todo tú, que te
more than
estamos
anything
diciendo
you, that we're
claramente,
telling
no
you
nos gusta tu
clearly,
trabajo,
we
no
don't like
estás
your work,
haciendo lo
you're
que-
not,
no estás haciéndolo bien. Y
you're
tú
not doing
sigues
it
ahí
well,
sentada,
and you're just
y lo
sitting
único que
down,
dices
and,
es, no comment.
and the only thing you
I
say is
tried
no
my best."
comment, I'm
No.
trying my best,
Like, I can
no.
do, anybody can say that. You know, ya es tiempo de que pienses.
Now
en
it's time
tus-
for you to
no
think.
nomás en tus hijos. Estoy
Not,
hablando
not only in your
todos
children,
los
I'm
hijos,
talking about all the children.
¿ok?
Le dije que mis hijos vinieron aquí.
I
Me
said my children
interesan
came
todos.
here.
Entonces, si vinieron con mayor razón.
So
Tú
if they
sabes
came
la
here,
calidad de
that's the biggest reason. You know the quality of the teachers
personas que están
and
aquí.
all the people that are here.
Entonces, no están tomando las mejores decisiones.
So you guys are
y
not
tú lo
making the best
sabes.
decision, and you know that.
Sabes la calidad de personas que están
You know the quality of people
alrededor
that are
y tú
surrounding here,
votas todo el tiempo
and you always vote,
y pides opinión todo el tiempo. Como
and
que
then
no
you're always
quieres.
asking for opinion like if you don't know how.
Esta es la primera vez que la abogada está aquí.
This is the
Gracias
first
a
time the
Dios.
attorney's here. Thank God.
Para ti es bueno que esté
Well,
ella
for
aquí.
you, that's good that she's here.
Yeah, pero las otras meetings, nomás no comen.
But the other meetings are no comment. It's the same excuses.
Le estaba preguntando porque no oía lo que decían ellos.
I was asking because I
Era
couldn't
todo.
hear them.
Okay, pero a veces había pequeñas preguntas.
But sometimes there were
y tú
small questions
No sabes contestar. No
and
estás
you don't know
preparado.
how to
Si
answer. You're
tuvieras
not
tantita
prepared.
vergüenza y
If you
dignidad,
had a little
te
bit
das
of
cuenta que
dignity and
nadie
you were
aquí
embarrassed,
está-
you'll see that
Está bien con que tú estés ocupando ese
nobody
espacio.
nobody's liking that you are here taking up that space.
Ahora, otra cosa que quiero decirle directamente
And another thing that I want
a
to
Mr. Mullen.
tell you, Mr. Mullen,
A lo mejor su récord está muy bien.
maybe your
y
record,
todo,
you know, is well and everything else.
Ok, pero si está lo mismo, si está oyendo que
But
no
it-
estamos
But
satisfechos,
if
no
you hear that
estamos
we are not satisfied,
a gusto con sus
that
decisiones,
we are not comfortable with your decisions,
entonces hay que tener un poquito de dignidad.
can you have a little bit more dignity?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is my first time seeing you or hearing from you. But
Es la primera vez que estoy aquí enfrente.
Well, this is the first time that I'm here addressing you
Porque estoy desesperada
because I'm
cuando el
frustrated
Señor habló
when
y,
the gentleman was speaking
y acusó.
and he
Y
was
lo que más me
accusing,
molestó es que
and what
usted
bothered me the most is that
agarró, el único statement que usted agarró fue el de él.
the only statement that you gravitated was towards him.
Ya. Y el Señor nomás vino, dio el papel,
The man just-
representó a alguien
The man gave the paperwork, he represented someone,
y se fue.
and he left.
No está aquí, ojalá que
He's
vea
not
el
here.
video
I hope he
y que
sees
se
the
dé
video
cuenta que
and
él
he can
no
find
está
out
bien informado.
that he is not, he's not well informed.
Está hablando muy mal
He's
tanto de
speaking
los
bad, not
maestros
only of the
y
teachers,
no está informándose, no está oyendo todo lo que está
he's
pasando.
misinformed of everything that's going
Por
on.
eso me atreví a pararme
And this
y
is
hablar,
why I wanted to stand up and speak.
pero sí he estado en los muchos.
But yes, I have been at these meetings.
Sí me gustaría
And
que
I would like,
usted en específico
I would like for
se
you
diera cuenta
specifically
tantas veces que le
could
están
find out
gritando
how many
que
times
ya-
they're yelling
que se resigne, que-
for you to resign.
y no sé por qué nos ignora.
And I don't know why you
Igualmente
ignore us.
para usted.
Same thing for you.
we are working on
Bueno,
grand
estamos
jury
trabajando
recommendations,
con las
and
recomendaciones del gran jurado.
recommendations for
Las
me to resign is
recomendaciones
part of
para
the grand jury recommendation.
El gran jurado lo recomienda o no.
Bueno,
Well,
aunque ellos lo recomienden o no,
Well,
yo pienso
if they
que
recommend it or not,
hay dignidad. Si
we
yo
should have
estuviera
dignity.
en el lugar de
and
ustedes
if I was in
y
your
la gente me está
position,
gritando,
and if people are yelling
no
at
estás
me,
haciendo tu
you're not
trabajo
doing your
bien,
job,
tuitea o resign.
quit or
Yo
resign,
tuviera vergüenza y me
I would be
me iría.
embarrassed and I would leave
¿Por qué? Porque no me quieren.
because they don't want me.
I'm not doing my job right y ellos lo está viendo la gente.
And people
Cada
are
vez se está
seeing
viendo
you.
más comunidad, gracias a Dios.
Thank God, you know, more people from the community are coming.
Y nos vamos a asegurar de que
And
la
we're
gente
gonna
se dé
make sure
cuenta
that people
de los
find out
fondos,
of the
de cómo
funds,
están manejando
of how you guys are, you know,
todo este
using it.
dinero.
Oh,
all this
can I make a statement?
Bueno, puedo hacer una. Speak.
Okay, so I've been to the migrant meetings
Bueno, he ido a las
where they discuss the
Hemos
fundings.
hablado sobre los
I was the first
el
African-American
primero,
ELL aide ever
afroamericano
hired in this
presente
district
y contratado
to
en
work
este
with our
distrito
Spanish
para trabajar con
population, our
nosotros.
newcomers program.
Y los los programas.
And,
pero-
and I'm very, like I said, I'm very proud of
De
this
nuevo,
district.
estoy muy
I worked here
orgullosa
almost
de
10
este
years
distrito,
and
casi
that's
toda
why
mis 10
I kept it a
años, y
part
es
of
por
me.
eso
So
que estoy
that's why
parte
I'm
de
still
eso.
here.
Sí, él puede estar orgulloso del
Yes, you
distrito,
could
pero
be proud of
nosotros
the
no
district,
estamos
but
orgullosos
we-
de usted.
But we're
ni
not
de
proud
ella.
of you, nor,
We're not proud of your decisions or our decisions, because aquí se mira, ay, sorry, se me sale, es que estoy nerviosa. Dígales,
I'm not proud of your decision nor her.
porque parece que a ustedes tienen algún interés.
It seems like you guys have some type of interest.
Me gustaría que me contestaran cuál es
And I
en
want you
realidad
to
su
answer me, what is
interés
your interest?
personal, no que no me
Your
digan,
personal
ah, es
interest.
Fairfax, no, su
I don't want you
personal
to just
interés.
tell me, oh, it's Fairfax. I want you to tell me your personal interest here.
Porque si la gente les está diciendo,
Because if, you know,
No.
people are telling you,
no están tomando las mejores
you guys are
decisiones.
not making the best decisions.
Entonces, ¿cuál es su mejor interés? ¿Cuál es
So
su
what,
interés?
what is the best, what is the interest you guys have?
O sea, nada que
No.
Fairfax, nada.
I don't want to hear it's Fairfax.
I spoke about my interests
Pero yo hablé
already
de mis
and,
intereses
you know,
previamente.
I don't know if you want me to repeat it, but
No sé si
there
lo
is
tengo que
many
repetir, pero
interests
hay
that I
muchos
have
intereses
in the
que yo
district.
tengo.
I'm sorry, but
Bueno,
we have reached our 10-minute
discúlpenme,
time, but
ya
I thank you
llegamos
for
a
being
nuestro
here
tiempo.
and I hope you have a good night and
Y pasen buenas
I hope we
noches.
can improve.
Well, can she answer?
Our 10-minute time period
Ya se
has
nos acabó los
ended.
10
Es no,
minutos.
Ay, no, gracias por
The-
contestarme, pero me
Thank
puede
you for
contestar
answering me,
ella.
but can she answer?
Our 10-minute time period has
Ya se nos
expired.
acabó el periodo de 10 minutos.
That's not time.
Yo quiero mucho a la comunidad y he estado aquí siempre.
Hablan mal.
He estado aquí
we're gonna-
siempre ayudando, como usted dice que está viniendo.
No te pueden oír ni ella.
Ok, venga. Yo he venido aquí a la escuela siempre y he estado ayudando
Yo
y yo
también.
quiero lo mejor para los niños.
I want the best for the children.
Pero
I
si te
hate
estamos
coming to the
diciendo,
schools.
Respetamos la opinión de todos.
pero si te estamos diciendo que tus decisiones no, es
But,
más,
but we are telling
No
you
estás
that
preparada.
your decisions, you are
no
not
estás
prepared.
preparada, no nos gustan tus decisiones,
We don't like
¿por qué
your
tú quieres
decisions.
seguir insistiendo? Oh,
Why
es lo
do you
mejor.
keep on insisting that,
Hay que
you know,
tener
it's
dignidad,
for the best
vergüenza.
interest? Have dignity, you know, you should have some shame.
Time.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Garcia, señora. Next recognized by the President Cheryl Johns Zaragoza.
Okay, so I had something I was gonna say, but I got too many notes on the back from everything else. Anyway, start off with Mrs. Sanchez has been here multiple times. I know her, I've spoken to her. She's been to many, many meetings. She is definitely involved in what's going on and knows what's going on. Thank you very much. All right, next, let's see. Okay, I'm just starting from the bottom going up. All right, somebody mentioned race. Well, I've seen racist posts saying that people are trying to get the Hispanics out, the people of color out. Well, that's not true. Mrs. Cornell is a person of color and they're not trying to get her out. You can't always judge by a person's skin. I'm Hispanic. My mom's name is Navarrete. And you can't tell I am, except for, you know, except for extremely extreme white people who go, what are you? And whatever, I don't care. My daughter, she's very light complected. And here in Bakersfield, she's like, nobody even knew she was Hispanic because she was like, my last name is Zaragoza, come on. And down in LA, they all knew she was Hispanic. That was really shocking to her, by the way. Next one, Victoria, let's see. Oh, by the way, Victoria, you are an excellent classroom aide for me. You are definitely were proactive in everything going on at Zephyr. I counted on her right before one of our Christmas parties. I wanted to take a dessert. Day before, I asked her, oh, Victoria, can you make me one of those wonderful cakes you make? She stayed up all night making us a cake for our Christmas party. She is definitely involved. And by the way, she has 3 lovely kids that are actually 4. I'll count Jared. I love Jared. Don't get me wrong. What else we got here? Okay, I was very offended by the gentleman talking about us putting bad things into students' heads. I was extremely offended. I have never once talked about all this stuff to my classroom, not a single time. And I was furious when I heard that. And I know a lot of other teachers who would never say anything like that in their classrooms. We say it here, we say it online. You're a bunch of adults. You can hear it. You're old enough, you can handle it. But we're not going to say it to our children in our classrooms. We would never do that. Next.
And I'd like to say on that,
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment. And I agree, and I really believe that because during the whole process of this, my daughter, the youngest one, was in her class. And I would always ask her, hey, Sophia, do you guys hear anything? You know, she's obviously knows what's going on, but I asked her, hey, do you hear of any of the stuff going on like with the board in your classroom? You know, just very nonchalant. And not once did she say yes. So thank you, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Victoria, for saying that. I feel better now. But, okay, so next one. Okay, where are we at? Oh, okay, so board members at events. I would love to see that. I worked before here. I was in Delano Elementary teaching at Fremont, the one on the other side of the freeway, according to everybody, but it was right next to the freeway. And I loved teaching up there. I loved the community. I loved the people I work with. I taught parents English after school. I was very involved. I was a team leader there too. And it broke my heart to leave there to come here. But when I would go to events, because my daughter had been in the district since 1st grade, and I went to events and I saw the district people and the superintendents and the leaders of the district at little school events. I loved it. That made me feel better. I changed districts because I never got to see my daughter. I spent so much time traveling back and forth to Delano when I moved out to South Fairfax that I never got to see her except for to fight with her to get in bed. So that wasn't a life for any of us. So I got to leave, but I felt much better when I saw people like Virginia at school events, okay? And they were involved. I never saw that in Delano, and I love that district. So I would love to see more of that too. And thank you for helping me make that decision because I love it here now too. I've been very fortunate to spend my career at places I loved. Thank you. And let's see, what was the next one on my list? Okay, oh wait, actually the first one kind of led to the second one. Okay, I think I got all those now. Me and my little notes on the back. All right, so how much minutes do I have? Okay, never mind. All right, question was, yes, they covered it. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Jay-Z.
Kristen Rodman.
Kristen Rodman is recognized as the school board president.
All right, good evening to the school board, and I'm glad to see some of your faces. One of my first questions I do want to address to the board is, what made you want to run for the board? So Ms. Alma Rios, who asked you to run for the board? What made you want to?
The community.
The community, who in the community?
Karen.
Okay, and I'm just curious, what community involvement did you have within the Fairfax community where people would want to come to you and ask you, Alma, will you be on the board? We feel like you'd be a great fit. Like, what did you do in the community to earn that respect to be asked to do such a thing?
I used to go to the meetings and help around.
Like, help around doing what? Because I've been in the district for 16 years and one as a sub, and I've never seen you. Never.
Well, I used to be involved with music, football.
That's odd because I was involved in the sports too, coached myself, Mr. Palmer here, even coached my daughter. So it's odd, I just haven't seen you around.
Wow.
And it's odd, the stares and the glances you give to the community and people who speak to you, yet when it comes time to talk, you're very silent. It's just an odd thing to me. And thank you, Virginia, for all your time. I remember seeing you from the very beginning when I was a young kid teaching in the classroom for the first time, and you've always been very supportive, very present, and you're very much appreciated. And same thing with you, Miss Cornell. Thank you so much. And Palmer, man, I just have to say, we used to be cool, man. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know. You went from this humble guy, active with the kids, and that was your focus, to, I don't know, trying to rule the world, like looking for a button to push where it's just gonna do what you want it to do. And I don't know what happened to you, man, but I'm gonna pray for you because something ain't right anymore. Something ain't right here and right here. My main point of coming up here is to address our state's FPPC. If you don't know what the FPPC is, it's the Fair Political Practices Commission. This commission regulates campaign financing, conflicts of interest, lobbying, and government ethics. There have been 2 complaints made to the state's FPPC. One made in 2018 and one made this year in 2021, alleging misuse of public funds for campaign purposes. These complaints involve 1 or 3 members of the board as either committing wrongdoing or aiding and assisting in wrongdoing. These complaints made as to personal knowledge or on information and beliefs state that some board members may have unlawfully accessed district databases to obtain information about voters within the district. So with all those big words, somebody's getting into our school computers, getting information on people when they shouldn't be doing that. So that's odd. A lot of oddities going on with this board. The decision-making, the respect for the community and teachers, just odd. Another oddity is that they allege that some board members may have used district computers, copy machines, laminating machines, and other resources for producing personal campaign materials. You run for a board, you do that on your own. You don't use school supplies, don't even use a pencil. But there has been evidence and there has been complaints that that was not done. So I'm just curious, Alma, I'll start with you first. What has this board done to investigate the actions of board members who have committed these unlawful actions while employed by the district or visiting district offices? So knowing that these 2 complaints have existed and you're involved in the board and you're involved in the community, so what do you have to say about what's being done about this? About this investigation and these complaints about 1, 3, and I just have to say, Tapia dodged a big bullet tonight, right? Didn't he, everybody? How convenient. He didn't have to be here under the scrutiny and fire of the other board members. So what kind of team member is that? So I'll go ahead and start with you. What has the board done? Because being a part of the board, you would have to know that these complaints have been brought forth, correct? So what has the board
And do you
done
wanna
about these
start with
complaints?
me?
I'm just curious.
Do you want to start with me or you want to start?
Oh, no, you. And you can't say no comment.
Well, can somebody else answer?
No.
No.
No, I said Alma. I didn't say Virginia, Palmer. I didn't say anybody else but Alma.
We are working on that.
You're working on it how? You have very generic comments and they're starting to get on my nerves and I'm getting a headache. So I'm just asking you politely to give me some detail. How?
Laura?
Laura, I'm not gonna make you do that. That's not your job. Alma's job is to speak Alma's words. You just sit there and hang out. Virginia, do you happen to know at all?
Sorry. About the.
Allegations, yes, of
I
the
heard
misuse.
rumors of it, but I didn't know if it was really substantiated, but I did. I'm putting my neck out here. I did believe the rumors, but I didn't spread it, but I believed it.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for having an answer. That's appreciated because we're not gonna know everything, right? And it's okay to say that. Mr. Palmer, Mullen, do you happen to know about that at all?
I do happen to know about it. And I think that's an ongoing matter that is being ongoing legal matter to this day. So we can't really comment as to ongoing legal matters, but I know it is an ongoing legal matter.
So it is ongoing, so it's active.
Yes.
Investigating into these allegations.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so that answers my question enough. You speak quite often and always, do what you need to do. So I'll let you rest for a minute. All right, so what is the board
I'm
will?
sorry, time, the 10 minutes is up. Five, I'm sorry, your 5 minutes is up.
Okay, and one more thing, what is the board willing to do? So if, let's just say you may not know exactly what the investigation entails, and you don't know. Go
Ms.
ahead.
Rodman, I'm sorry, it is time, but you can access us through our email as the recommendation. As the recommendations have included, you can now find our personal information on our emails and access any of us with any questions.
Guys
Further
and
questions, thank you.
guys and gals, do you think I need any more time? Because the answer is going to be the same. It's an ongoing investigation.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Ms.
Rodman,
Rodman.
thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Francis Ruiz.
Who?
Francis Ruiz.
Francis Luis? Reese, Francis Reese is recognized by the school board president.
Hi, my name is Frances Reese, and just a background on me, I am an employee in this district. I have been for the last few years. My daughter has attended here the last 5 years or so. I've been a community member for the last on and off 30 years, let's say. I actually attended Fairfax at this very site from kindergarten to 8th grade. So I'm very, very invested in this district and who we are and what we represent in ourselves. And Fairfax very much is family. At the end of the day, we are family. And someone said earlier that we're not family right now, and I disagree. I think we still are family because who we are, Fairfax Strong, we are a family. And we look out for ourselves and we look out for each other, and we will always stay strong together. But it's people like Mr. Mullen here that are bringing us to a level of who are we now? People are questioning us. They're questioning our reputation. They're questioning our district. We have staff that are wanting to leave our district because they think that they don't have a place here. We have good teachers who don't want to come here anymore because they feel like they're going to be prosecuted when they get here. They're not going to have anything to come to. And you stated, no, I'm not finished. You will
Okay.
not interrupt me.
I'm
You will not interrupt me. When I'm done, you can speak. Because at this point, what you're doing is it's all a control game for you. You came to this district, you came to this board thinking you were gonna be somebody and you were gonna change something. Guess what? You're not going to defeat us. At the end of the day, when you're gone, we will still be here, okay? 130 years, this district has been here and you cannot kill us. We will stay here after you're gone. You mentioned your child in this district. Your child and my child are the same age. They're in the same grade level. They both play sports. They're both active in programs and activities. So where in your head are you considering your child? And all these funds that you're allocating other places, everything that you're doing and taking away possibly from our children, where do our children stand? Where does your child stand in the just ridiculous decisions you've been making? That's my question to you, Mr. Palmer. And all the decisions that you've made on this board thus far, where does your child stand? And how much more damage do you want to do to this district?
Is that a question?
It is.
Oh, I didn't come to the board as one person. The board is a collaborative body of people. I didn't come to this position thinking I was bringing anyone down. I started, you came here years ago, and so did I. Like I stated before, I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of people in this district. I didn't come to this district to bring anyone down. I'm not here in this district. I'm not in this
So
position.
why are you damaging
to
the
bring-
district now
I'm not
then?
here to damage the district.
Look what you've done.
I'm not here to damage
You've
the
divided an
district.
entire district. You have people coming in from this community that have never really been involved before and only here because of the damage that you're doing. So how can you excuse that? Where does your child come into play? Because my child plays sports. She's into band, she's into
My
choir,
child
she's
plays
into all
sports.
that. I know that. I've literally been there with your child. I've helped coach him. I've done all that, which is why I'm asking, how can you sit here with a straight face and take all of these funds that could possibly be damaging for any programs that we may have going forward, and you're okay with that because your child is gonna suffer as well. So if you're not thinking about our kids, think about your own. That's my question. Is your child even a factor in your thought process in the detrimental decisions you're making as board president? Or are you just on some power trip? Because that's what it looks like to me.
I can tell you that the board has made actions in the last few board meetings where it is very supportive to improving our district, welcoming more people to our district.
Where's your child
retaining-
in your decision-making process? That's what I want to
My
know.
child is at the top, and I feel like putting my child in any sixth grade classroom with any sixth grade teacher is the best. That's why he's still here.
Then why are you taking all of these funds and paying these lawyers and getting 2, 3 different sets of lawyers when we were just fine with who we had, who has been representing us for what was the last 20 years, however long it's been? Why are you taking all of these things and changing everything for it to fit you and bringing your sheep along with you?
I cannot state to any personnel matters that I have not been a part of, but if you have evidence that I've been a part of trying to tear this district down, we're talking about censure and grand jury, but there's so many questions that I've asked people to really look into, and I don't think anyone has really looked into. I don't think anyone knows one question that was asked during the interview question of anybody. So these are ongoing personnel matters that I wish you guys would be able to find out. And information that I tried to give is protected by confidential matters.
that's fine.
So, you
That's
know,
fine.
my child will continue to be in this district. That's what I can
So
say.
let's just focus on the kids then.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Laura Gaitan.
Laura Gayton is recognized by the school board president.
Two.
I just have a concern. I was here for the 5:30 meeting and I watched how the lawyer took over the meeting and was reviewing agenda items, calling and counting for votes on the items. One of the items, E4, being an item that directly affects her law firm. And I don't see why the lawyer had to take over when we have, I know you're really smart and I know you can handle a board meeting, but I'm sorry, you were not elected. Ms. Alma, my question is for you. Board bylaw 9121, you were running the board meeting. And board bylaw 9121 requires for the board to choose a president pro tempore to perform presidential duties, and that didn't happen. Why do you continue to violate board bylaws?
I would like to make one clarification, and that is that these matter on the agenda involving a law firms did not involve my firm. And I was simply assisting with procedural matters, which is something that the board is allowed to have their legal counsel do.
Ms. Alma, why do you continue to violate your own board bylaws in this very last meeting at 5:30? You were running the board meeting, Mr. Poland was not here, Mr. Mullen wasn't here yet, so you were running the board meeting.
He was coming, right?
Ms. Alma is the vice chair. She is the pro temper. She is the one to run the meeting when the president is absent.
Okay, but she was appointed, but this meeting that you were missing, the lawyer took over. She started, she went over all the agendas, calling for votes and counting them. She was not voted in by the community. Mr. Mullen, you were, Ms. Selma, you were, and you were running the board meeting, and you broke bylaw by not appointing not appointing the lawyer to be running the the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Laura Gaitan. Nancy Cox is recognized by the school board president.
All right. I've been sitting here and I still have not heard the answer to why we have not held Mr. Moland accountable for his behavior. Now, you say there's stuff I don't know, but it seems pretty clear in the censure what happened. We had a firm that had nothing to do with us come and give interviews. They have something to do with us? The attorney from LA had something to do with us. Really?
You're asking me?
Sure.
I think it is just important to do some more research, but it is attorney-client privilege. But I stated in one of the board meetings that they should ask for the interview that was held from the independent investigator. Also asked that they look into the warrants and payroll and who appointed this independent investigator. Was it the board? Did the board decide? So there's a lot of questions that can be asked to the information that you've received.
So you're telling me that
I'm just asking you to do more research, and you will definitely get more answers. That's all I can say.
Okay.
The rest
so
may be.
Can I
covered
ask the
under-
rest of the board members how they feel about the censure? Do you think it was fraudulently done, Ms. Coronel?
I don't.
And I already heard you think it's fraudulently done. Did you think it was fraudulently done, Mrs. Lawson?
I think I already said this, it should have happened.
Okay,
Censure should
the
have
censure should have happened. You think the information given was true? And then Mrs. Rios, you're saying that, what do you think about the censure? Why are you looking at Palmer?
She stated earlier that she was for the censure motion.
Wait, this is what I heard. This is what I heard her say. This is what I heard you say. That when you looked at it before, that you felt one way, but now you might feel another way. That's what I heard you say. But just 2 weeks ago, we had another vote, right? Mrs. Coronel pulled another vote, and you still voted no for the censure. That's correct, right? But so have you changed your mind now after reading the information again? I'm
looking at Laura.
Why, does Laura know more than we do too?
I don't know if we could discuss.
Okay, so again, I feel like the employees in this district have been disrespected and nothing has been done about it. And I've worked for this district longer than you did. 10 years? I've been 30 years this October. Okay, 30 years. I've committed my life to this district. I love these students. I love them. If I had been held accountable, if I had treated someone like that, I would have said, wow, I don't deserve to be here anymore. And I have not, because I love these kids. I respect these kids. I respect their parents, every one of them. I've had some weird things happen. Don't get me wrong, 30 years, weird things happen. I broke my ankle and Virginia had to come save me. See? Anyway, But, so that's one thing. The grand jury, they lied too? Did the grand jury lie too? Their information is totally inappropriate too? So that's, I have not heard the answers to these, and that's why I came. I've been working the long shift, guys. I'm doing the migrant program, love it, love my students, having a lot of fun. We made cars today, they didn't run. It was very sad. We will make them run tomorrow. But I came here because I wanted to hear answers, and I still haven't heard them.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox.
Myra Toro.
What is it?
Myra Toro.
Myra Toro is recognized by the school board president.
I don't have her on Zoom either.
Oh,
Okay, and we do have one question that came through Zoom that I would like to ask. Carrie Costin from Zoom asks, to the board as a whole, what does it mean to you to censure someone? Alma, the question would like to start with you. What does it mean to you to censure someone?
She started over there. Can we start from over there? Okay.
Victoria, would you like to start? What does it mean to censure someone?
Sorry. So to censure someone is pretty much just helping prevent making decisions that are going to affect others. I mean, if you want it simply made.
Right, thank you. Ms. Lawson, what would it mean? What would it mean to you? To censure somebody, what does that mean? What does it mean to censure somebody?
To me, the censor means that he would not be able to vote on things that impact the school and the district.
And Ms. Alma,
What she said.
can you say in the microphone?
Yeah, to don't. Yes.
All right, thank you. I do have one request. There was a little bit of confusion with public comment, and Catherine Pariseau did not get recognized. I asked that if we could recognize her public comment.
I do apologize, but yes, we can recognize, the board president do recognize Catherine Pariseau.
There was just a confusion with all the signups.
Okay. Kind of quick, believe it or not, coming from me. I love you all, okay? And I love this district, and I keep trying to love you three that we're working with. I try. I'm with Rodman, man. We're keeping you in our prayers because we got to get through this and we got to get past it in a healthy, mentally healthy, safe way. So 3 questions. 1, actually 3 requests. 1, I, Catherine Pariseau, request that the censure be put back on the next agenda. 2, I request that we put the position of president on the next available meeting agenda and enforce that in order to break up the alleged collusion, that we deny Mr. Palmer the right to vote. Ms. Brown can be the tie winner, tiebreaker if necessary. 3, Mr. Mullen, not wanting to be unfair ever, and this is why we work so hard in our classroom to not bring politics into the classroom. And if they do, it's under current events, and we have to bring both sides to the issue. We have to. So I'm not aware of anyone who screwed that up, but in order to be fair to you, 100%, I have done my own investigation. into why would you suddenly flip personality issues? And what I've come up with through multiple sources, over 10, is that there are staff members who are in a belief that you have some big, huge, great bomb to land that would bring the district to light in some nefarious way. And these staff members are trusting you and they're expecting great things to be made public. You've had a year and a half for this supposed investigation into the nefarious actions of the district. Now, it's possible. I've worked for 6 other districts, and let me tell you, there's a lot of nefarious going on. I love our district. If it's nefarious and I've been loving it this whole time, I'm in trouble. But if you've had a year and a half to do this investigation and you have findings, those findings need to be made public with the Kern County District Attorney or other convening authorities. And I personally request that if you have this allegation, I request you make it public tonight.
That's all we have for the meeting. We can adjourn.
And due to ongoing legal matters, I cannot specifically speak to the issue at hand, but I will take I do thank you for being here until the very end, and I will do my best to try to be transparent to where you will see information. Thank you.
Soon?
Thank you.
Soon?
I will try my best.
We
And
need
thank
this.
you.
If you're right, we need to get it done
you've
before the
been-
beginning of the school year and get down the road.
Thank you so
All
much
right.
for being here.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
And that's everything for the meeting.
Okay, that is the end of our town hall meeting. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
Just 1 second.
First,
That would be up to Mr. Mullen.
No. The public comment town hall meeting has ended. We are now in the adjournment section. Adjournment is a voting item. If I could have a motion to the floor to adjourn.
first,
I have a first motion by Alma Rios to adjourn.
Oh, Miss Costin is here for her answer. She said she didn't receive it.
We're on the adjournment. So is there a motion to adjourn? There's a first motion to adjourn.
Can I make a motion to listen to Miss Costin, so Miss Costin can have her
We're
answer?
on number 5, the adjournment. The town hall meeting is officially ended and we're in the adjournment section. We have it recorded. We have it recorded. We answered the question. We're in the adjournment section. So there's a first motion to adjourn. Is there a second to adjourn?
Yeah, you should vote on it.
Okay, there's a motion.
To hear. You, Victoria.
I'll do the first motion so she could talk.
Okay. Alma made it.
There's a first motion for her to ask her question. And is there a second motion?
Yeah, I'll second my motion.
A roll call vote, Alma Rios,
Aye.
Virginia Lawson.
No, I think Carrie Costin has something to say. She should be heard.
Yes, Virginia, that's what we're voting on.
We are now, so that would be a yes. That 4-0, we're gonna move
Were you a
back.
yes too?
Huh?
Were you a yes as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we're gonna move back into the town hall section for the one question that was asked for Carrie Costin. Carrie Costin is recognized by the school board president.
I'm sorry to show up late and keep you guys here longer, but I literally just came from work and was listening to the stuff as I left work, as I was crossing town. So I was on Zoom listening to the responses. So my one question was answered. Thank you. It let me completely understand why Ms. Rios probably voted no on the censure, because she very clearly did not understand what it meant to censure someone. I'm going to make the same assumption of Mr. Tapia since he is not here and voted along with it. But moving forward, I feel like, and maybe this has been addressed already because like I said, I didn't get in on the whole thing because I was at work. But for me, the whole point of this town hall meeting was because the community feels like as a whole, the board, the majority of the board is not being honest and forthcoming with what their agenda is and what they are doing. So based on one of the things I heard on my way across town, Mrs. Rios, do you know who I am at all? Have you, aside from these meetings, have you seen me on campuses?
I have seen you, but I haven't talked to you.
Okay. Ms. Lawson,
Definitely.
how did you know me? Like, what did I do?
You were involved with the booster clubs for sure, and your kids' education too. And you
Okay.
come to these meetings.
Mr.
I
Mullin?
met you and your husband years ago when I started working for Fairfax School District. You guys did the Fairfax Fair Fest, and you would come to my retail store and buy some of your decorations, and you would come to get stuff to help with your Fairfax Fair Fest. And you were recently placed the item on the agenda to bring your dogs to our campuses, which was passed. So I'm really aware of who you are and you as a community member.
Ms. Cornell?
We've served on several boosters together. So and our children, your middle and my oldest were in the same grade. So yes,
Okay.
I know who you and your family are. You guys are wonderful people.
Okay.
Thank you.
And even for the community, most of the people here, raise of hands, who knows me? Mrs. Rios, when you were asked what you have done in the community that made people come to you and ask you to run for the board, and your general answer was, you've been involved in meetings and such. Nobody here knew who you were. I've been in the district for 15
They know
years
me.
and doing stuff for 15 years. I've been in this district. Everybody here knows me, and I'm not sitting there. Honestly, most of the people that voted for you thought they were voting for Miss Alma. Just own it. That's what we want. We don't want you to sit here and throw lies at us. We know you're lying. Just own it. Just own it. I got here because somebody told me I should run for this position because I could do X, Y, and Z, but I didn't research my position before I got it. Did you research your position before you got it?
Yes.
So you knew all about the Browns Act and the Roberts Rules of Order. So when you voted on stuff that clearly broke that, you knew it. You knew what you were voting. You knew you were clearly breaking laws because you voted along with it. If you researched it, because as a booster club person, the district didn't send me to training places. I got on the internet, I researched everything. I knew what I could do, what I couldn't do, what I needed to do. Not because the district sent me to training, not because the community even voted me for what I was doing as a whole, like you guys got. So do your own stinking research and quit taking money from the district. You guys, you two in particular, have been on the board long enough. You should know your position. We should not have to be paying to send you to more training. You should know your position. But along the other lines of the community feeling that they've been lied to because you guys clearly have an agenda that we don't understand, because this has been one of the best elementary school districts in Kern County. We have done amazing things in this district. So why you would seek to destroy that boggles my mind. If you care about children at all, you don't seek to destroy, you seek to make it grow, and you're not growing it, you're destroying it. So along those lines, Mr. Mullin, I'm going to echo what others have said. I don't understand. I'm going to hope and pray that you find some deeper guidance on whatever you're going through in life, because you did tell me at one point you wanted to be on this board because you wanted Mr. Coleman gone. There's your agenda. I'm sorry to bring that to light for everybody, but you and Kathy Adams Tangi both have said that to me. And where is he? So I have to say, for these teachers that are getting just discouraged and wanting to leave, the ones that are leaving are the best teachers that this district has. They're the teachers that my kids who graduated at the height of their class in high school and have gone on to college have had. You don't want to lose them because they're what is going to build this community up, and you want this community to be built up. So that's my public comment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you, Mrs.
Costin.
Costin, for coming.
Now, with the end of public comment, we will move to adjourn.
First,
I have a first motion on the floor to adjourn by Alma Rios.
I'll second that.
I have a second motion on the floor by Victoria Cornell. I am now going to do a roll call vote. Alma Rios,
aye.
Virginia Lawson, Palmer Mullen, aye. Victoria Cornell.
Aye.
That is a 4-0. The motion is adjourned at
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.